by the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry. You're listening to 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 1025 The Game or visit thegamenashville.com. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Broadcasting on Alexa.
I appreciate that.
And other smart speakers. 102.5 and 106.3.
1, 2, 3. I think it was a good game. Had a couple of big plays.
The Game.
A Cromwell media station.
Covering your teams and the news of the day.
Ladies and gentlemen.
This is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mace.
It was pleasant to listen to.
With Caroline Fenton, Willy Donick, and former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason.
You are hands down my favorite radio personality of all time.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
With no further ado,
Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. We are live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Game Studios, streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook Live every single day. Our video streaming is brought to you by Superbook Sports. Happy draft day to everyone. It's draft day, Willy!
Yes, it's draft day,
It's
Willy.
draft day!
Yes, Willy can calm down now. Willy can take a sigh of relief.
You know, I'll take a collective sigh.
I don't believe it's actually draft day. I don't think they're going to do it. Something's going to happen. There's going to be rain. They're gonna postpone something, and I'll still be in misery.
Oh, man.
I promise, Willy, it is coming to a close. But yesterday, I was breaking down a bunch of mock drafts, looking at a bunch of stuff, and I was like, look, I'm getting tired of draft stuff. So instead of looking at the real draft stuff, I watched the movie Draft Day. So I moved on from real draft stuff to fake draft stuff. And man, oh man, did it get me going. Something about Kevin Costner being the GM of the Browns, making completely unrealistic trades, gets me in the holiday spirit for today. How we doing?
Doing well. I'm ready for the draft. I mean, you know, we will be covering it tonight at Twin Peaks, starting at 6 o'clock.
You,
Jared,
Chris
and
Sanders.
Chris Sanders, Crazy Chris, will be on these airways breaking down the draft, and we may be surprised, we may not be. Jared may be crying, he may not be crying.
Jared's gonna be crying.
Yeah, he's gonna be crying either
about
way.
something.
But it's a good day. It's a good day for the NFL. It's a good day for those who love the NFL, and more importantly, it's a very, very butterfly in the stomach day for those individuals that, you know, will get drafted this weekend, and even for those that they may end up being free agents and sort of get to pick their team after that.
So tell us your draft story. Like, were you at home?
Yeah, I was at home. Again, I wasn't, predicted to go in the first round, second round, more so like a third or fourth round.
But you knew you had a pretty good feeling you would be drafted.
Yeah, I had a good feeling I would be drafted. It's just where. You know, that's the part you kind of excited about and trying to figure out, like, where will my next home be? Will it be in California? Will it be here in Detroit? Would it be in New York? I never thought it would be.
Did you have
Nashville.
a list of teams that you thought were more likely than others? Like, were the Oilers on there?
No, they were not. Philly and Pittsburgh were on there, more so Pittsburgh, because there were ties with Pittsburgh and the Spartans, Michigan State, so there were some ties in there. But yeah, I didn't know other than possibly those two teams. So you're sitting and you're waiting, and Sunday morning comes and you hear your name, and then you sort of go about your business. That was the beginning for me, at least. Because my thing was, I'm going to make you, or I'm going to prove to you why you should have picked me a long time ago. And I'm going to prove the other 30-something teams that didn't draft me why you should have.
So did you see your name pop up, or did you get a call from Floyd Reese or Jeff Fisher before?
I got a call from Floyd before I saw because, it's kind of behind a little bit. Before I saw my name on the ticker, we were watching it, but, they called first, and then you see your name, come up.
Yeah.
So Houston Oilers, I'm like, Houston. And then started to look more into it. It's like Tennessee. Like, okay, I guess we'll be going to Tennessee.
So at the time, they had been Houston, but they were going to.
Yeah, they had already,
Memphis.
did the, deal to go to come here to Nashville.
So you had to sort of study up on where are we going to play?
I'm like,
Wait a
man,
minute,
well,
are we in Houston? Or are we in Memphis? Or
Well,
are we in Nashville?
I spent 2 weeks in Houston for camp, but after that, the next time we were going to show up, it was going to be here in Nashville. I didn't know anything about Tennessee. Honestly, I didn't know a
Much
thing
different
about
city then
other
than
than
it is now.
Memphis and Elvis and the Vols. I didn't know where Knoxville was in regards to being in. I knew it was in Tennessee, but where at? East, West? I didn't know where it was.
So when it says Houston Oilers. Was it still during the draft? Were they called Houston Oilers, or had they been switched to Tennessee Oilers?
Oilers then. I think they were the Tennessee Oilers then. Yeah, because they
So,
had already finalized.
Like when you're at
everything.
Michigan State, are you sitting there going, "Wow, the Houston Oilers are going to move to Tennessee? That's weird." Like, did you?
No,
even
because
know
I
that?
didn't know they were
You're
going to
not
draft
paying that
me.
much of attention.
Yeah, I didn't know they were going to draft me, so I didn't think Tennessee Oilers. I didn't. It was never on my radar.
You
as
have
far
no
as
idea
teams.
what my life was like, because every day I was like, we got to change the nickname. We can't be the Tennessee Oilers. It's got to be something new. I got a nickname. It's called the Copperheads. People would call in with so many different nicknames. That was our life. So you didn't even know.
No,
it's
I didn't
good
even-
that you didn't even know that was going on.
Yeah.
You had plenty of other things to deal with.
It is funny to see kind of the progression of sports throughout time because some nicknames and mascots become increasingly not making of sense. Like the Los Angeles Lakers, there's no lakes in LA.
Yeah, there's
Like,
really
the
not.
Utah Jazz, there's no jazz
in
music in Utah.
Yeah, they're not known for their jazz music.
Right, exactly. So whenever and there's no oil in Tennessee.
Yeah.
What's the point of having Tennessee Oilers?
But that wouldn't stop some nerd from calling in. There actually is some oil in Tennessee.
There's always that guy.
Yeah.
There's always going to be that guy. Well, I know that
The
there.
environmental geologist or something like that.
Yeah, some petroleum engineer that's trying to get an Exxon over here in Middle Tennessee has to stand up for all of the oil rigs around here. But I know that there are several NFL hopefuls waiting for that call tonight. Several of them will probably be in Kansas City. They're getting their snazzy little suits ready. They've got something with diamond encrusted watches and pink suits. I know they always have nice little fashion tonight. But the biggest question is, what in the world are the Tennessee Titans going to do? And that's a question that we all have, and I think that's a question around a lot of NFL cities, around a lot of teams. Tennessee's a wild card. They could go quarterback. They could trade back and get a lineman, get a wide receiver. I mean, there are a million different combinations of things that the Tennessee Titans could do. But they could be showing their hand just a little bit more and more as we get closer to draft day.
Do we really think they're showing their hand? Because to me, I'm giving Rand Carthon full marks because you have many people that are saying they might trade up. Then you have another group of people, sometimes the same people, saying they might trade down.
Well,
And then you have some other people, they might just stay at 11. So success for Rand Carthon because he's got everybody going all the different directions, and nobody knows. Yeah. So success.
there is one thing that we know, though. Diana Rossini,
Okay, so
when she's got something, it means something.
Okay.
When she has something to say about the Titans, we all have to listen. But I would agree with you, Willie, that I have seen insights about trading up, staying put, and trading back. So cool, great, awesome. All of those are on the table. That's completely new information. But Diana Rossini was on ESPN yesterday evening. She is in Nashville. She said that she sat down with Rand Carthon and provided a little bit more insight, possibly, as to what is going on in the heads of Rand Carthon and Mike Vrabel. This was Diana Rossini, who, of course, we know has an inside source with the Tennessee Titans. This was Diana Rossini.
The latest on what you're hearing on the Titans draft plans tomorrow night.
Field, I sat with Titans new GM Rand Carthon in his office to go over the mood of the building on draft eve, as well as try to get more information as to what they are going to do with that pick at 11. And he tells me they're really calm, they're prepared. In fact, head coach Mike Vrabel and him sat together for 2 hours and they set their draft board. They are ready to go for Thursday night. So what are they going to do with their pick at 11? Carthon tells me they're open to everything. They're willing to move out, they're willing to stay. They're also willing to move up. In fact, I spoke to some perhaps trading up. Now, The player they're going for, Carthon wouldn't tell me what they're doing, but my sense is the Tennessee Titans have their eyes on a quarterback, and they're going to do everything they can to go get him.
Okay. Now, Diana, when she says that's her sense, I have a feeling it's maybe a little bit more than just her sense if she's going to be reporting it on ESPN. But the first thing I thought of was, isn't that a little bit contradictory from what Diana Russini told us last week? This was Diana Russini last week on NFL Live.
Todd, I don't get the sense that the Tennessee Titans would be willing to move all the way up to 3 for a quarterback, but I know that they are in the business of perhaps getting one.
Okay, so last night Diana Russini is saying, my sense is that the Titans want a quarterback and they'll do anything it takes to go get him. Last week it was, they're in for a quarterback, but they're not willing to go up to 3. That's only a week apart. So what changed?
The closer to the draft, and this is the stuff that you sort of like, man, like which way are you going? You're flip-flopping. It's like one hand you say no, one hand you say yes, so you can never really be wrong because you can always go back to, remember I said this, but yeah, you also said this too. No, but I said this. Remember when I said this? So no one knows but the people in those rooms what's going to happen, and I'm sure she has her sources, but just like any source you have, they're going to give you just enough so you don't keep asking. You know, you're going to ask them a question, they're going to give you just enough for you to hold on to, but they're not going to give you the full picture, because if she had the full picture, or if anybody had the full picture, if we had the full picture, we would go on here and definitively say this is what's going to happen. But because neither one of us have the full picture, and no one outside of that, the war room has the full picture, you get bits and pieces, but you're not getting what's actually happening, or what this team, because they're holding this close to the vest for a reason. And then all of a sudden something get out, you're like, okay, is that true? Is it not true? I just tend to lean more so on, hey, listen, they probably giving her a little bit, but they're not giving her the whole story. It's like that old adage, I taught you everything you know, but not everything I know. So, and it's true. So I think that's, in this situation, that's one of those deals where I'm telling you everything you know, but you don't know everything I know.
Of course. How did she start the report? They're willing to stay. They're willing to trade up. They're willing to trade back. So she covered her bases.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying she's wrong. I think she's right with the information she's getting. So I'm not saying she's wrong. She's getting their information. What she knows everything that they've told her, but not everything that they know.
It's not her job to be right.
Exactly.
It's her job to report what her sources
Absolutely.
It's the same thing that we see from Ian Rappaport and Adam Schefter. They get information from agents. It's not their job to nitpick or to interpret what the agent is saying. They regurgitate the information that the agents or the GM or the coach or whatever gives them. That is their job. So again, Diana is not telling us that is what the Titans are doing. But we know that Diana Russini is plugged into the Titans organization, that she has a source within the Titans organization. And whenever she has information about the Titans, we all have to listen. And she says that the Titans are looking for a quarterback, and they're willing to do whatever it takes. I still think it's a little bit interesting that in just a week, it's gone from not going up to 3 to they'll do anything. But there is another change of plans, at least, or a change coming out from Diana Russini that I think could also give us at least a little peek behind the curtain as to what the Titans could be doing tonight. And we'll get into that coming up next, plus your thoughts as well. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase on a draft day. 102.5-106.3 The Game.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game has an all-star lineup Monday through Friday. Batting first at 6 a.m., it's Robbie and Rexroad.
Yeah, you take that. Take 80% of that.
Followed by Chase and Michelle at 9.
Couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
I need my caffeine so much.
Then it's Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase at 11.
Yep, green light, let's go.
You've got a lot of options.
He say, she say. And bringing it home at 2, Jared Stillman for Stillman and Company.
That guy will be a good coach.
We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Hey, what if you could be credit card debt-free in 10 days and save as much as $1,000 a month? You might have some things that you'd like to do financially, and you could get that cash in 10 days to start that project. Maybe it's just to pay off some bills, high-interest credit cards, something like a 24% interest fee. You don't want that. Get that down to zero. The way to do it is through Loan Pronto's Express Equity Credit Line. You can close in 7 to 10 days, all digital process. Most people don't even need an appraisal, so you can get this project going quickly. It might be to start a home improvement project, might be other bills that you need to pay, car payment, something like that. So stop the madness, call Loan Pronto, and get this engine running. Even if you did a total refi recently or just bought your home, you can tap the equity in your home with this fast, easy program. Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780. 615-499-5780 is the number. Or you can go online at loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
The choice is yours. Wednesdays at 8:45. Brought to you by Jarrett Companies. Now hiring experienced sprinkler experts. Go to jarrettfire.com. JARRETT fire.com. Jarrett Companies, a company above and beyond industry standards.
Mom, we're out of potato chips.
Teenagers, they'll eat you out of house and home, kind of like health insurance, which can take a big bite out of the family budget. Fortunately, with Farm Bureau Health Plan's Core Choice coverage, we can save $3,600 a year compared to the leading competitor. And we've got better coverage with a lower premium, lower deductible, free telehealth visits, and access to one of the largest networks available.
Can we order pizza?
Visit FBHP.com or your local Farm Bureau office today.
This week's Nashville's best deal is Bite a Bit Thai and Sushi in the heart of East Nashville. Get half off a $30 gift card while supplies last at thegamenashville.com/deals. Featuring all the best Thai food, sushi, and cocktails, plus an amazing bar and environment. You can eat a bit and bite a bit with this week's half-off deal. Check out biteabitnashville.com. That's Bite a Bit in East Nashville. Half off at thegamenashville.com/deals.
This is Jim Mitchell at Mr. Transmission in Madison. Many of you care about a cure for cystic fibrosis. I care a lot and support the Saturday, May 6th golf tournament at Hendersonville's beautiful Country Hill Golf Course. It's the CureForOurFriends.org 9th annual golf tournament for cystic fibrosis. Tee off at 7:30 a.m. and 1 p.m. on May the 6th. Lots of prizes and sports stars, lunch and dinner provided for each tee time. Sign up at CureForOurFriends.org. That's CureForOurFriends.org.
The Nashville Sheriff is hiring correctional officers. Earn $52,500 after paid training and probation. Positions are available immediately. You must be 21 and over with a high school diploma or GED. Come, join our family. That's $52,500 with great benefits. Apply now at sheriff.nashville.gov/apply or call 615-862-8170. Earn $52,500. Stop searching. Apply now. The Nashville Sheriff.
Getting to know yourself can be a lifelong process, especially since you're always growing and changing. Therapy is all about deepening that self-awareness, because sometimes you don't know what you really want until you talk things through. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist online who can take you on that journey of self-discovery from wherever you are. Visit betterhelp.com/score to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/score.
Anyone want to tell me what happened? Did you miss any of today's show?
It's okay. It's fine. Don't worry.
Subscribe to the Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase podcast on Apple, Spotify, and other podcast platforms, or by going to thegamenashville.com.
All right, I'll give it a shot.
Having some fun in the midday.
Okay, that's really fun.
This is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase.
It's a good source of energy because it's live.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Field, I sat with Titans new GM Rand Carthon in his office to go over the mood of the building on draft eve, as well as try to get more information as to what they are going to do with that pick at 11. And he tells me they're really calm, they're prepared. In fact, head coach Mike Vrabel and him sat together for 2 hours and they set their draft board. They are ready to go for Thursday night. So what are they going to do with their pick at 11? Carthon tells me they're open to everything. They're willing to move out. They're willing to stay. they're also willing to move up. In fact, I spoke to some sources around the league, teams like the Arizona Cardinals, who have taken calls from the Tennessee Titans about perhaps trading up. Now, the player they're going for, Carthon wouldn't tell me what they're doing, but my sense is the Tennessee Titans have their eyes on a quarterback, and they're going to do everything they can to go get it.
That was Diana Rossini last night. I also love how she said, Rand Carthon and Mike Vrabel sat together for 2 hours and finalized the draft board. Like, I feel like they've been probably spending a whole lot more time than that together over the last few months, finalizing the draft board. But that was Diana Rossini. So she said that she spoke with Rand Carthon. She is in Nashville. Also have it on good authority that Diana Rossini will be in Nashville today and is leaving tomorrow. So she's going to be here in Nashville covering the Titans on draft day. But that's a little bit of a change from her initial plan, because this was Diana Rossini last Friday on what her draft coverage plan was going to be.
Diana, I believe the Colts are the team you're covering for us next week, right ahead of the draft.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
You have any sense
that is correct,
what
Dan. I'll be out in
thinking at this
Indy
point?
next week. Yeah.
Okay, so as of last Friday, she was supposed to be in Indianapolis. And as we know from her report last night, she is in Nashville. I know that she will be in Nashville until Friday, so she will be in Nashville for the first round of the draft. So that makes me think, why the change of plans?
I think she, did she say she's not going to Indianapolis? Because she could go to Indianapolis. I mean, she could go to Indianapolis tomorrow, to cover more, because, I mean, I'm sure that's one of her teams she does cover in this region. So she probably figured, let me go to Tennessee on the first day, because it seems like they're the team that sort of, I think Indy's pretty much, there hasn't been anything coming out about Indy wanting to move up or to move down. So it's like boring in Indy, because they're sitting, at 4 right now?
Yeah.
And Indy probably believes at 4 they will get the player they want. Because you haven't heard any noise coming out of Indianapolis about who they want, who they don't want, what quarterback they want to take, if they're taking a quarterback or not. It's been silence coming out of Indy. So it's not intriguing, or it's not sexy to go up north to Indianapolis and see what they're doing. Well, it is here in Nashville, because it keeps going up and down. Are they going to stay at 11? Are they going to move up? Are they going to move back? Are they really in the business for a quarterback this year? Which one of these quarterbacks do they really love? So there's more intrigue here, I think, than possibly in Indianapolis, because they have someone else covering the Houston Texans. So I'm pretty sure if she was covering the Texans, that might be more intriguing than what the Titans are going through, because the Texans sit at the second spot. So they may not take a quarterback, and everybody's wondering, well, what are they going to do? So.
Well, there's a lot hinging on the second pick.
Yeah.
When we did our mock
The
draft
entire draft
yesterday,
hinges on
that was
number 2 overall pick.
really what we did. So that's what you really understand. I don't know if we read too much into it. My base questions end up being the same. It's like, are you targeting more than one of the quarterbacks? Are you willing to take any of them? Is there one guy you would really want to go get that you feel is worth moving up to get? These are all the questions. Are you willing to walk away from this draft without a quarterback? Like, I think you're in a better position if you don't put all your eggs in one basket. So I'm wary of chasing one guy and giving up assets to get one guy, but sometimes you fall in love with that guy and you go that way. But history shows that you're taking a little bit of risk if you're giving up assets to move up.
Oh, it's a huge risk.
Yeah. I mean, but if you believe, if everyone's on the same page with said guy, whoever that guy is, if everybody's on the same page, you don't think sitting at 11 that you will get him, then you do what is necessary to move up. As long as everybody's in agreement. Now, again, if you had the GM in the offensive coordinator thinking one thing and the head coach and the owner or somebody else thinking another, then we're all not on the same page. But if we're on the same page, then let's do whatever it takes to move up, because everybody understands if we want a quarterback, the quarterback that we love, whoever it is outside of Bryce Young, because I believe he goes number 1, whoever he is, we're going to have to do something to move up potentially to get that player. So are we all on board to move up? Yes? Okay, then if we need to, we'll do that.
I also wonder if there is an added dynamic of Rand Carthon being a first-time GM where other GMs are going to test him, and say, let's just see what makes him tick. Maybe, let's throw a lot of stuff at him. Let's offer and see what happens. I feel like that is a natural thing that would happen to anybody that's new. Like if there's somebody new in our fantasy league, people are going to be like, maybe I can fleece this guy. Don't you think? I mean, it's a natural thing. You might get a guy, you might just see if is a guy too eager in his first draft to do something. I think he might be put to the test. Maybe you get a few more phone calls than you would if it's a seasoned guy that you do. Look, I know Derek. Derek's been in this league for a long time. I know I can't get anything over on him. I'm not even going to call him. He's not going to. He's never going to take this deal, right? Or if there's a relationship, you and I might have a relationship in our fantasy league. We're like, hey, we've made trades before. I know he's not going to try to screw me over. We've made good deals that have worked out for both teams. So there's no history there with Rand Carthon. So I just wonder what that dynamic looks like, especially for a pick this important, where you've got everybody guessing, and you might be in the market for a quarterback. And to get the quarterback, I mean, it looks like there's a possibility you might have to move up to get the guy you want.
And that is the very intriguing thing about this draft. It's not only the Titans having several positions of need, wide receiver, offensive line, corner, any DB, quarterback. I mean, there are so many positions of need that adds really interesting elements into this for the Tennessee Titans, and then add in the fact that they have the highest pick than they've had in a very long time, and then add in the fact that they have a first-time GM, and we have zero sample size of what Rand Carthon's tendencies are in the draft. I felt like we kind of got a good idea of what John Robinson liked to do. He wasn't really a go-for-it, trade-up kind of guy. Didn't mind injured players. We had a big enough sample size from John Robinson that we thought, oh, that's not a John Robinson guy, or oh, that's a John Robinson guy. We have no idea what that is with Rand Carthon. But I think as far as Diana Rossini is concerned, D-Mase, you said that you don't think Indy is sexy. I disagree. I think that Indy is very interesting because we know that they need a quarterback. And my question about Indianapolis is, are you going to just let the next quarterback fall to you? Let's say if Houston drafts a quarterback, are you going to trade with Arizona to move up to 3 to avoid any other team from doing it? Let's say Houston doesn't draft C.J. Stroud. Is that Indianapolis's guy, and they might just wait at 4, move up to 3, and get C.J. Stroud? I think while there are fewer options for the Indianapolis Colts than there are for the Titans, I think that the Colts are intriguing. Maybe not necessarily super sexy, but very intriguing, and whatever they do could totally impact the fallout of the draft.
I think they've done so much in previous years with trying to reach to get a quarterback via free agency, and they've given up a lot to do that. I think they're at a point now where they like, they probably like all 4 of the top quarterbacks, but they know that, okay, this guy we may not be able to get, so we're not going to stress over that. These 3 guys right here, we like, whether it's C.J. Stroud, Richardson, or Levis. We're going to be able to get one of those guys, whichever one falls to us. We will, we may like a guy more than the other, but we feel we can still do the things that we need to do as an organization with the guy that is not picked, because they're sitting back in there. How much do we have to give up just to move one spot? That, to me, that doesn't make sense. If I could see if there was 2 quarterbacks in this draft and there was nobody else, like the other quarterbacks were so far behind, it was pathetic. Then I can see Indy saying, well, maybe we have to move up. But there's 3 quarterbacks outside of Bryce Young that are really 2, because C.J. Stroud is up there too, I believe. Yeah. So you're talking about Will Levis and Anthony Richardson that are sitting there for Indianapolis to draft. And I think both of them sort of fits what they want to do. Big guys, strong arm guys. One is a more so of a, we got to let him sit and let him develop. And the other guy is developed and can play for you right away in Will Levis. So to them, I don't think they're willing to give up the capital because they've given up so much capital already. To give up the capital to move up one spot. They would rather the Tennessee Titans give up all of their capital to move up. And it's like, okay, y'all want to move up to the 3? We're still going to get our quarterback, the guy we want. And now you're behind the 8 ball because now you done lost all these picks, and we still got ours.
No guarantee they would get that guy that they liked, though, because what if they love Will Levis?
But what
and
if
what if the Titans love Will Levis?
But what if they love Anthony Richardson?
What if the Titans take Anthony Richardson?
But what if
it's
a 1A and 1B?
Maybe so.
And so I'm cool with a 1A, 1B.
If that's the case, if Indianapolis says, hey, we love C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, and Will Levis, so we're willing to let any of them fall to us, then cool. Indy's in a good spot where they can just stay put and find their quarterback of the future. But when we're talking about sexiness and intrigue, I don't think that Diana Rossini would change her plan on draft day to go from Indianapolis to Tennessee if it meant that Tennessee was just going to trade back and draft an offensive line.
That's why I'm saying it's more sexier here for her to be here because of what could potentially happen with the Tennessee Titans. She said it. Move up, move back. I don't know. Hell, it's the draft.
I think they're moving
Thank
up
God
to
it's
take a
going to be over
quarterback.
tonight.
I think they're moving up to take a quarterback. I don't think
Could be
Diana
right.
Rossini would come here to interview Mike Vrabel about Paris Johnson Jr. No disrespect to Paris Johnson Jr. She's coming here to interview Rand Carthon and Mike Vrabel about the quarterback that they're trading up in order to go get. I don't know who that guy is. It could be 3. It could be 5. It could be Will Levis. It could be C.J. Stroud. It could be Anthony Richardson. I don't know who it is. But with these little breadcrumbs that Diana, who's got a direct inside source within the Titans organization, she's given us a few breadcrumbs. I think that means they're going to get a quarterback. I could be looking way too far into it. It could have been an assignment change from ESPN. Her flight to Indianapolis could have gotten canceled. I have no idea. But it's draft day and anything can happen. And we'll get your thoughts on it coming up next. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Hey, this is Matt Duchene, and this is Nashville.
Drummond down the left side with Duchene. Duchene scores! Matt Duchene with the overtime winner.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators Radio Network, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Family Leisure invites you to vacation at home with a new spa, pool, patio furniture, or wood play gym this summer.
I really want a spa.
40 spas on display from Artesian, Best Spas, and American Select.
Prices starting as low as $29.99.
Family Leisure has over 100 sets of patio furniture with free delivery.
That sounds good to me, too.
We should really look at the wood play gyms for the kids. Family Leisure has the Diamond Point swing set on sale at only $24.99 installed. Family Leisure's vacation at home sale in Franklin and Antioch.
If you've been thinking about remodeling your home's kitchen or bath, contact the countertop experts at Smoky Mountain Tops. Willie Donick here, and we installed Smoky Mountain Top surfacing in our kitchen years ago. It's remained durable and super easy to clean up. Smoky Mountain Tops is proud to offer the new prestigious Vidara quartz for your kitchen or bath countertops. Vidara surfaces are ideal for use in almost any interior application. Check out the stunning new Vidara quartz shown at Smoky Mountain Top Studio. Contact the pros at Smoky Mountain Tops. Quality, service, and dedication. Visit SmokyMountainTops.com.
Golfers, tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest new arrivals from Titleist. Check out the new Pro V1 golf balls, designed for longer distance, more consistency, and unrivaled control. Swing by Edwin Watts Golf Shops and elevate your game with the new TSR Woods, engineered faster, longer, and straighter. Come in and get custom fit for free today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, unmatched expertise, unmatched service.
Middle Tennessee, you can count on an award-winning service team for all your home maintenance and improvement needs. Lee Company, we're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau and trusted by thousands of homeowners in our community. Our team is ready to assist with all your home maintenance projects, heating and air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, appliance service, and more. Experience the convenience of calling one phone number for all your home maintenance needs. Call Lee Company today at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
Tuning into the baseball game, monitoring the incoming storm, catching your favorite talk show. These are just a few of the reasons more than 80 million Americans depend on AM radio each month. And did you know AM radio is the backbone of the emergency alert system, keeping us safe in dangerous times? It's reliable, free, and public safety depends on it. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress we need AM radio in cars. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
April was a busy hiring month for Cromwell Media, the owner of this radio station. We're saluting 3 teammates for 8 years of service. Cliff McCardle, our promotions director, and Jared Stillman and Ian Safar on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Janet Gers in our business office passes the 6-year mark. And Junie Riddle in promotions and Lance Mackey in sales are celebrating 2 years with us. These folks are making a difference every day. Come join our amazing team. Send us your resume at together@cromwellmedia.com. That's together@cromwellmedia.com.
Nashville Sounds Baseball lives on 94.9 The Fan. Catch every pitch.
Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Every hit.
That's a base hit.
Every run.
Looking up, it's gone.
On your home for Sounds Baseball. 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
Hey Nashville, this is Rick Stockstill, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 The Game.
Caroline, Willy, D-Mase. This week's Nashville's best deal is Bite a Bit in the heart of East Nashville. Get half off a $30 gift card while supplies last at thegamenashville.com/deals. Bite a Bit features all the best Thai food, sushi, and cocktails that you will love. Check them out at biteabitthaiSushi.com. Willy and I were kind of discussing this at the break, and I think one man that could step away from tonight, away from the players that are going to be rich, a man that could step away very, very rich tonight is Monty Ossenfort, general manager of the Arizona Cardinals. I think that Monty Ossenfort is probably sitting back and keeping his fingers crossed that the Houston Texans either do, or honestly, either situation. If the Texans don't take a quarterback, let's say they go Tyree Wilson, CJ Stroud is on the board, the phones are going to be ringing off the hook in Arizona for teams trying to trade up in order to get CJ Stroud. If the Texans do take a quarterback, let's say all of this was a smokescreen, the Texans love CJ Stroud, they take CJ Stroud, well, now the phone's going to be ringing off the hook because there's going to be a rush on that 3rd overall pick. Because teams are thinking, oh gosh, well, Bryce Young and CJ Stroud are already off the board, so we need to go up to 3 and get Anthony Richardson or Will Levis, our quarterback of the future. So I think Monty Ossenfort could step away from it with a whole bunch of picks to continue to build that team for the future.
I do think, you mentioned you watched the movie Draft Day. I do think that would be a fun kind of movie plot line, right? You have Monty Ossenfort, who was with the Titans. Presumably, if they said, hey, Monty, you want to try out for the new GM spot? We need a new GM. I'm guessing he was interested in that. I'm guessing, right? Then he gets the job for Arizona. Mm-hmm. And, man, you sit there at 3. They don't need a quarterback. They're in a great position. And can you imagine the movie? Like, if you're making a movie, like, let's have Monty Ossenfort, who used to work for the Titans, make a deal with the Titans, with the new guy. That's a great idea.
Blockbuster trade.
I mean, it's movie stuff. But he could really play a poker game because even whether there's huge interest in reality or not, and I think there will be, right? It's obvious.
Oh, totally.
But he could create a great competition, whether real or imagined, between 4, 5, 6 teams. You could keep calling people back and saying, I don't know, man, I just had Team Y call me, and they offered a 2nd and a 3rd in addition to next year's first round, and swapping the pick. Like, he can really work it here. Mm-hmm. So these are 2 first-time GMs, Monty Ossenfort and, of course, Rand Carthon, who are getting into this game. It's going to be really fun just to see how it goes down. Like, I never thought I would be interested in watching a draft. Like, in general, I'm not, right? But this one, at least until the Titans pick, this will be fun just to see the chess game that's played there, to try to see if you can come away with a lot of assets and the player that you want.
Yeah, it will be because, I mean, when you just figure Carolina, unless they shock us too, they're going to take a quarterback, and then you look at that 2 spot, and Houston, I think Houston 2 through 4 is going to be interesting because obviously if Bryce Young is taking number 1, now you have Houston sitting there at 2, and it's been speculated that they're not interested in taking C.J. Stroud. Well, are they interested in Will Levis? Are they interested in Anthony Richardson? Or are they interested in Jalen Carter or Will Anderson? Which one of these guys, I think, which one of these guys are they interested in? Then you look at 3. Arizona's like, listen, we don't necessarily have to move, but we don't have to pick at 3 because we're not in need of that franchise quarterback. We feel we have ours. And we need to sort of build up our team too, because it's getting a little bit older in certain areas. Yeah, for sure. So if you want, whoever wants to come up to 3, my door's open. My phone's ready. You call. I got 3 or 4 phones, so all y'all can call any number you want to, so you can get through. It's not a call waiting.
Does anybody have 4 phones? Do you think of these GMs?
Kevin Gates has 2. I know for sure.
So that's 2. So,
I just wonder how that. At what point does it get too confusing, or where's the strategy?
You got the red phone, you got the blue phone, you got the black phone, then you got the orange phone.
There's some poor intern that's going to be like, hold please, hold please.
Here. That 2
the Titans from Monty Austin for it.
That 2 through 4 is going to be interesting. Whether the Titans move up to 3 or not, whether Indianapolis sits at 4 and move and decide, okay, we want to sit, or they say, well, we want to move up to that 3 so we can get that guy, whoever it is that we truly want. And then, who are they? And then Arizona still at 4 can fleece somebody else.
Yeah.
And say, listen, we don't really want to be at 4 either. So our door is still open to making a deal. So just because Arizona makes a deal at 3 doesn't mean they can't turn back around and make a deal at 4 as well.
It depends on if there is another guy that Arizona loves.
Yeah.
Let's say, for example, they love Willy Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to do business with the Titans to go back to 11.
Mm-hmm.
But they could say, well, yeah, we love Willy Anderson, but we also love a bunch of other players that I know are going to get pushed down to 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 because all these quarterbacks are going to be pushing them down. So we're open. So they could do a deal where they trade number 3 to Indianapolis, move back to 4. They could trade back to 11. Titans move up to number 4 to take their quarterback. There are endless options of what it could be, but I do think that Monty Austin is sitting in a good position.
Oh, of course.
And I know everyone's been saying, well, Arizona's desperate to trade away from that number 3 spot, and it has just been crickets. I think everyone's waiting to see what Houston does. Once the Houston ball starts rolling, then those calls will start to come in.
Nothing will happen until Carolina and Houston make their picks. There may be some talks behind the scenes of what can potentially happen with other teams, but nothing is going to happen actually, where we get across the ticker, Arizona has made a trade with X team. They're not going to do it until they see what, like you said, more importantly, what Houston does at 2. Because I think what Houston does at 2 sort of shapes out what's going to happen pretty much from 2 to probably about 10. Because if they don't take a quarterback now, okay, now there's still 2 quarterbacks left, and there's 2 or 3 teams that need quarterbacks potentially.
And several more teams that could upgrade a quarterback if they want to. I think that the Titans are trading up to get a quarterback. Diana Russini said on ESPN yesterday that the Titans want a quarterback. They're willing to do whatever it takes to get a quarterback. Diana Russini changed her draft day plans to go from Indianapolis to Tennessee, so she is in Nashville for draft day. To me, all signs point toward quarterback, but hey, what in the world do I know? But a former general manager had some advice for Rand Carthon as far as moving up, moving back, staying put is concerned. What that former general manager had to say to Rand Carthon, and our thoughts on it and your thoughts on it as well. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, tune in to Nashville's best NFL draft coverage right here on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game for the first 3 rounds on Thursday and Friday, today and tomorrow. Coverage is presented by Parman Tractor and Equipment, the new Cumberland.com, Smoky Mountain Tops, Parman Energy, B&B Flooring, and the Nashville Sheriff. 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
We are Nashville's best sports talk, live and local from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. When you want the national Hey.
I got this. I'll take it from here.
Okay, go ahead. Dying to hear this.
We have the best national voices that you'll find anywhere.
Who was more deserving of being thrown from their game?
I'm odd, so I get the odd picks.
They have a new coaching staff.
It's not a bad scenario for them.
We are 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
And 94.9 The Fan.
Real estate investors, listen up. D&M Development announces the pre-sale of Nashville's only non-owner-occupied short-term rental resort community. The New Cumberland is perfectly located between Germantown and East Nashville, with amazing views of the city and the Cumberland River. The New Cumberland is a resort-style community featuring community pools, spacious kitchens, 4 bedrooms, and 4 baths. D&M Development is releasing 16 units in their Phase 1. Available now. Go to thenewcumberland.com for information. That's thenewcumberland.com.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Are you a fan of Twin Peaks? Sign up for the Twin Peaks E-Club and stay up to date on all things Twin Peaks. As a friend of the Peaks Club, you'll score free stuff and be updated on upcoming events and promotions. Visit TwinPeaksRestaurant.com and sign up today.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 3.5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports.
Do you love sports, and are you passionate about helping local businesses and your community grow? Hey, it's Chase McCabe, and let me tell you, the best attributes of working with us on our sales team at 102.5 The Game include the ability to build relationships with local businesses, craft effective advertising campaigns, and the potential for high earnings. If you have excellent communication skills, think creatively, and have the drive to succeed, just shoot us an email with your resume at together@cromwellmedia.com. That's together@cromwellmedia.com.
Start your day with a cup of Joe. Ugh, he's gonna think that's stupid.
Wait, what?
Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexroad are Robbie and Rexroad. There, that sounds better.
Thank you so much.
Weekdays from 6 to 9, presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Having some fun in the midday.
Yeah, that's awesome.
This is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Anita Marks from ESPN's Daily Wager will join us in 15 minutes. We'll get her thoughts on all of the shifts on the sportsbook as far as the NFL draft is concerned. But Diana Rossini went on ESPN last night and said, the Titans could stay put, could trade back, could trade up, but she has a sense, ding, 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 a sense, that the Titans are willing to do whatever it takes to go get a quarterback. Well, former general manager Mark Dominic was on our station earlier this week, former Tampa Bay general manager for several years, very successful general manager. He was on our station earlier this week and talked about some advice that he would give to Ran Carthon as a first-time general manager, as all of these rumors are floating around that the Titans could move around either up or down. This was Mark Dominic earlier this week.
If you are the general manager of the Titans, if you're Ran Carthon, and there's a quarterback, one of the top 4 quarterbacks that you like, how would you plan draft night in order to try and strike on one of those guys?
Yeah, I think you've got a pre-plan if you've got that mentality. If you like one of these 4 or even 5 quarterbacks, depending on where you have them on your board, you have already set the groundwork for a possible trade, meaning you've reached out to maybe Brad Holmes with the Detroit Lions, the general manager there, or maybe Terry Fontenot wants to move out of 8 for whatever reason with the Atlanta Falcons, you call Monty Ossenfort, right? Obviously a former local Titan, and just kind of see what the value and what the cost is, not acting overly excited, but just saying, hey, look, we're considering it, but we just want to see what the asking price is. And then you kind of reconfirm that again this week of, hey, you know what, we may want to get there depending on what the board looks like. So again, just want to make sure that we're still talking the same page. And that way you've kind of got the trade kind of in pencil. And then Thursday morning or mid-afternoon, you kind of usually you will let the club try to reach back out to you. Usually that club that's kind of generating the trades trying to figure out, can I get more? And so you just play patient all day Thursday. You don't call back, and then you wait for the clock to come in and a pick before you make the call back out to the Arizona Cardinals, the Chicago Bears, whoever it might be, Detroit Lions, and say, hey, look, we're still considered. The board looks good based off of the next pick, but what do you guys? Are we still good to go? And I did that a long time ago in Tampa with the Bucs, and it worked out, and we were able to use that fourth-round pick to actually get Levante David.
And he goes on to say, if he could give Rand Carthon any advice, even being a general manager who just said, hey, we traded up and we got a guy who was very successful for us in Levante David. He goes on to say that his advice to Rand Carthon would be, don't move. Stay put at 11. Let the players come to you. And I think it's interesting.
Have I not said that same line? I am right in lockstep with him. That is what I believe. I just don't think it's good to get eager, trade up, and do it. I love that. I love that philosophy. Don't marry yourself to a quarterback, and don't chase somebody. Let the draft come to you.
And I totally see that line of thinking of, hey, we're not going to mortgage our future for one guy. If you're not totally convinced that this is your Patrick Mahomes, you're a Joe Burrow, you don't mortgage your future for that guy. But I also do think that every draft is different. I don't think that you can place the same philosophy into every single draft other than let's just take the best player available. Let's get the players that we believe fit into our building, and those kind of draft philosophies. But I don't think that you can apply that philosophy of, hey, let's just stay put into every single draft, especially when every single year is different. Your roster needs are different. The players are different. So I totally hear what Mark Dominic is saying, and I would probably agree with him a good majority of the time. What if there's that guy that you just love and you have to go get him and he turns out to be Patrick Mahomes? Then trading up to go get him is so worth it. And you're going to kick yourself for not doing it earlier.
Yeah, I mean, you have to – every draft is its own entity. 2023 draft is different from 2022 and so forth and so on. So you have to approach it a little bit different each and every year. Yeah, I mean, would you love to be able to sit back at 11 and your guy come to you and you not stress the board? Absolutely. I mean, who wants stress? I mean, nobody wants to sit there and be stressed out. But we understand that's not how it works. It's not how the NFL works as much as you want to. And sometimes you just – there's no reason for you to move up or move back. You just sit where you are at because you're not really in the need of it much. And you feel whatever position you're in the need for, it's going to fall to you anyway. But the quarterback position is just different. When Trevor Lawrence came out, if Jacksonville didn't need a quarterback, don't you know there would have probably been like 5 or 6 teams doing whatever they could to move up to get Trevor Lawrence or Joe Burrow or, any one of these quarterbacks that have come out and went number one in the last few years. Teams would have did whatever they could to move up to get those guys. Why? Because we look at Joe Burrow and what he's doing. We look at Trevor Lawrence and what he's becoming now. We look at the former first-rounders and see what they former first-round picks or first-round picks, but number 1 picks or number 2 picks, we see how much that can change your franchise in a blink of an eye. So you do if this year's that year where you got to do whatever you need to move up in the draft, do it. Didn't I say that in January?
You've been saying
do whatever
that
you
goes
need
against my
to
philosophy, though.
To get
whatever it takes could end up having you give up to you give up the what if you miss out on the great guy? Well, what if you go to great lengths to get the guy you want,
And
but he doesn't turn out well, and you've given up all these assets.
But you get fired.
Right. I
No,
mean,
but
all
if
of these
ever-
things, you can't be afraid about
Exactly.
any scenario.
You can't be afraid to move up and give up.
But you can't be over-aggressive, I don't think, when
But
you
what-
don't have to have a quarterback this year. You have a quarterback.
No, but we're being short-sighted. It's not about this year. This is not, and I think I've said this for so long, it's not about this season coming up. It's about the seasons after that.
Mm-hmm.
When you're putting together a team, you got to put together a team thinking, not necessarily, they may help us this year, but we're thinking down the line. We're thinking the year after next and the year after that and the year after that. How will these particular players sort of fill out our roster, one? How will they sort of fit what we want moving forward as a organization? I'm not talking about, if it was based on this year, they don't need a quarterback. I wouldn't draft a quarterback at all if I was just looking at it from the standpoint of this season, 2023 season. Mm-hmm. You don't need a quarterback. Don't draft a quarterback. Stay at 11. Matter of fact, move down, get more picks. But you will not be in the same position next year. I hope you won't. I don't think you will.
Ideally, you wouldn't.
Exactly. So then when do you get that when do you have an opportunity to get that quarterback?
You either have to overpay for one.
Then you're going to have to you
With
can't
draft
get away
picks
from it.
or money.
You cannot. That's what we don't what we got to understand now. You can't get away from it. Getting that quarterback, you're going to have to get it somehow. Mm-hmm. Either you're going to have to get it by giving up picks or being bad and having the number one pick, or you're going to have to pay for. So either we're paying now or we're paying later, but we're going to have to pay.
It is tough because there's really no situation that seems very attractive.
Mm-hmm.
Staying with Tannehill for the next few years? Nope, don't want to do that. Trading a bunch of picks to trade up and draft a quarterback? Nope, don't want to do that. Overpay for a free agent quarterback? Nope, don't want to do that. Those are the only options you have.
So we got to figure out what we feel comfortable with doing. And you're right, Willie. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but in order to get that quarterback, things have to happen. Things, either you got to be bad enough to get it, or you're going to have to give up some picks to move up to get it, i.e. Kansas City. Luckily, nobody scouted, Patrick Mahomes obviously that well that they didn't take him. They passed on him and let him go, 12, 13, somewhere around there. Either you have to do that or you have to pay for somebody else's quarterback. So which one are you willing to do? That's what it boils down to.
Let's get into some of your thoughts. Our phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com. Scott in Hendersonville says 100% big moves like that don't pan out cost people their jobs. Let the draft come to you. Really kind of your philosophy. Mm-hmm. And that's not wrong in the slightest. If you mortgage the future and it doesn't work out, you lose your job.
Scare money don't win.
But if you do it, if you go for it, and it works,
you're the GM forever.
You win a Super Bowl, and you will be enshrined in the Titans' Ring of Honor forever. And those are really scary options, either boom or bust. But that's what the National Football League is. Scare money, don't make the money.
Okay, quickly.
Yeah.
Do you think the Rams won or lost when they gave up what they gave up to get Jared Goff? Was that a win or a lose?
I view it as a win because it was a path to get their next quarterback that won them the Super Bowl.
But they got to the Super Bowl with Jared Goff, which was a win.
True.
So at some situations you can do it and you can win. What if they had never did that to move up? They would have never got Jared Goff. That organization probably wouldn't be in the place that they're in because they were also able to leverage Jared Goff to the Lions and then get Matthew Stafford.
But that cost them a lot, though.
But did they win the Super Bowl?
Yes, they did.
Bam!
They won a
weren't
Super
scared.
Bowl.
They weren't scared.
And they
Yeah,
might
money
be
gonna win, Willie.
They might be horrendous for the next 5 to 10 years.
But who cares?
They got a Super Bowl, baby.
Exactly.
Right, but you're saying one that worked. We could find through history a lot that didn't work.
But I picked that to fit my narrative. There we go.
We can cherry pick whatever whatever narrative we want. Anita Marks from ESPN's Daily Wager will join us coming up next. We'll get her thoughts on how the sports books have been changing rapidly over the last few days. Anita Marks, ESPN's Daily Wager, coming up next. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
All the big plays.
For the win! Yes! Vanderbilt wins it!
All the big stories.
Quarterback carousel, what the Titans decide to do at the quarterback position.
All in one place. We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3.
10% chance of making the playoffs. Checker flag is in the team with incredible talent. Every team in the league.
The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
What if you could be credit card debt-free in 10 days and save as much as $1,000 a month? Loan Pronto's all-new Express Equity Line of Credit program is just what you need. Willie Donick here. You don't have to do a full home refi. You can tap a small portion of the equity you have and enjoy a super low monthly payment. With Loan Pronto's Express Equity Credit Line, you can close in 7 to 10 days, and a $50,000 loan would only cost you around $400 a month. Use that money to pay off high-interest credit cards or do a home improvement. You can access up to 90% of your home's equity, and 9 out of 10 homeowners won't even need an appraisal. Even if you did a total refi recently or just bought your home, you can tap the equity with this fast, easy program. Stop the madness and say no to 24% interest fees. Call Loan Pronto today. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Hey, are you seeking relief? Maybe you just want to enhance your day or night. Did you know there are legal THC products available right here in Tennessee? Yeah, really. You can have legal THC products shipped directly to the comfort of your home. Yes, comfort in cannabis is only a website away. Visit greentreescompany.com. That's Green Trees with a Z, and change your life today.
Hi, this is Jamie from Souls for Souls. I hope you can join us on June 7th at Hermitage Golf Course for the second annual Music City Celebrity Golf Tournament. We've partnered with 102.5 The Game to provide shoes to students experiencing homelessness right here in Nashville. Go to thegamenashville.com for more information and to register.
Hey, it's Mike from Newton Chevrolet of Russellville. Are you tired of April showers ruining your mood and turning your car into a muddy mess? Well, Newton Chevrolet of Russellville has a solution for you. I want to introduce the brand new Newton Rainproof car. Yes, you heard it right. Our cars are specifically designed to keep you dry during those pesky April showers. Our patented rain-proof technology includes a roof that doubles as an umbrella, a windshield that repels water like a superhero, and tires that have built-in rain boots. With the Newton Rainproof car, you'll never have to worry about getting wet again. Say goodbye to ruined hair and soggy socks. And the best part? If you buy a Newton Rainproof car during the month of April, you'll get a free set of windshield wipers that sing in the rain. You can stay dry and shop our full selection of rainproof cars on NewtonChevroletRussellville.com and buy a car from the comfort of your dry home with Newton Fast Pass. It's the fast, easy, and dry way to buy your car online. So come on down to Newton Chevrolet of Russellville and make a splash with our rainproof cars. Hurry! The offer ends when the rain stops pouring, which could be never.
Now, your Game Center update.
This is Nick Keyser. The Colorado Avalanche are on their toes in the NHL postseason as they've been taking on Seattle in the opening round. In the opening 2 minutes of the third period last night, Seattle sealed the game. In Game 5, here's how it sounded on the Kraken Radio Network.
Bjorkstrand off the end board, sending it up top. Carson Soucy scores! The Souse is loose in Game 5. 3-1 Seattle.
The NFL draft is today. The Tennessee Titans hold the number 11 pick, and ESPN's Diana Rossini said this morning that GM Rand Carthon and head coach Mike Vrabel have been in lockstep preparing for the draft and that their draft board was set as of yesterday. And the Miami Heat eliminated the Milwaukee Bucks last night with a 16-point comeback in the fourth quarter. Miami forced overtime, winning 128-126. You're listening to 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 1025 The Game or visit thegamenashville.com. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Nashville's exclusive home for the Nashville Predators. 102.5 and 106.3.
A gunny performance.
Do your job.
And the Tigers regain the lead.
The Game.
A Cromwell media station.
Covering your teams and the news of the day.
Ladies and gentlemen.
This is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mace.
Who is pleasant to listen to.
With Caroline Fenton, Willy Donick, and former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason.
You are hands down my favorite radio personalities of all time.
On 102.5 and 106.3, The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
With no further ado.
Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3, The Game, and the Game Nashville app. We're live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Game Studios. Streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook Live every single day. Our video streaming is brought to you by Superbook Sports on this lovely draft day. And joining us now to break it all down is ESPN Daily Wagers' Anita Marks. Anita, I know today and this season is incredibly busy for you, so we're so excited and very grateful to have you with us. First question for you, what do the sports books look like for the Tennessee Titans and their first-round pick?
Well, I think a lot of people are expecting the Tennessee Titans to try to trade up. Right now, everybody's expecting the Carolina Panthers to take Bryce Young. Then the Houston Texans, they're at 2. Is it going to be Tyree Wilson? Is it going to be Will Anderson? I think with the connections with the new head coach in Alabama, it's going to be Will Anderson. And then what happens with Arizona? They've come out, they said that they are not going to, they're looking to trade that number 3 pick, and C.J. Stroud, more than likely, obviously, if Young does go to the Panthers, is going to be sitting there. So a lot of people are anticipating the Tennessee Titans to potentially trade up with the Arizona Cardinals and go after C.J. Stroud at that number 3 pick. At least that's what the sports books are looking like they're anticipating, and I think a number of people who cover the NFL are as well.
Anita Marks is with us, ESPN's Daily Wager. A wild day in Vegas when Will Levis, in the matter of 24 hours, went from plus 4,000 to plus 400 to be the number 2 overall pick. What was your take on that movement with Will Levis?
Yeah, listen, I've done a lot of research. I've spoken to a lot of scouts, a few general managers, a few agents, and everything that I'm hearing is that Will Levis is a lot of smoke. Of course, just a few days ago we had heard, the rumor came out that he was telling his friends and family that he was going to be the number 1 overall pick. Right. We saw the numbers change immensely when that rumor. Here's the thing. And I would love to try to help people win some money. I'm sorry, my dogs are excited about my hit with you guys today. But
about Will Levis, I'm sure they're big Kentucky fans.
If they've seen pictures of Will Levis, I'm sure they're excited about it. If they've seen him play football or they've seen game film, I don't know, not so much. But here's the thing: general managers, owners. They don't want to let anyone know what they're doing, number 1. And number 2, a lot of this is smoke and mirrors, right? Like a lot of times, there are teams that will throw out certain rumors to try to get other teams to do things. So that's what, in my opinion, this is what makes the draft tonight so exciting and so fun is what's true, what's false. What was thrown out there to get a reaction from another team to potentially use draft leverage to move up or move down or trade or pick a certain player, or you know what I mean? So I think that's what makes it so exciting. And obviously those rumors out there move the needle and change the numbers for a lot of these odds makers. So, it's going to be fun how this all plays out. Again, top 5, I've got Young going to Carolina. I've got Will Anderson going to Houston. Arizona looking to trade that pick. Is it Tennessee? Is it Houston? There's some talk out there that Houston wants to trade their number 12 pick and move up and take Will Anderson and C.J. Stroud. I'm pretty confident that Anthony Richardson's going to go to the Colts at 4, by the way, more so than Will Levis. and I have Jalen Carter going to the Seattle Seahawks at 5. So those are my first 5 picks.
We'll talk with Anita Marks. Hello, my friend. How are you doing? It's a long time no hear.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute, Boo. It's been a minute.
Yes,
How are
it
you?
has.
Great to hear your voice.
I've been doing well. Just enjoying Nashville, and I'm sure you heard many great things about our city. But in regards to defensive players, Anita, is Will Anderson, are the numbers heavy on Will Anderson's side that he will be the first defensive player chosen?
I believe so. The knock on him, the negative on him, is that he doesn't have that first initial explosive step. Other than that, I mean, that's the only negative I've heard about him. So, and again, I think with the ties of the new head coach and his ties with Alabama. And there are some question marks about Wilson. Listen, I'm all about a big man running fast. You're talking about a guy who's 6'6", 270, who put up a solid 40 time is great. But I'm hearing from the scouts I've spoken to more knocks on Wilson than Anderson. So I do believe it's going to be Anderson. I wouldn't be shocked if it's Wilson. But everything I'm hearing is that it's going to be Anderson. He'll be the first non-quarterback taken in this year's draft at 2.
Now, has the biggest swing as far as odds, has it been Will Levis or has it been another player?
Yeah, I mean, Will Levis, actually, Bryce Young has been the biggest swing, for at least the first 2 months. When, the odds hit the board, it was C.J. Stroud. Everybody thought C.J. Stroud would be the number 1 quarterback taken. Here's the thing, guys. I don't like any of these quarterbacks. They all have warts. And I hate that word, and I just used it. They all have warts, right? Like Bryce Young, he's so, like, when he walks over to the sideline to talk to Nick Saban, they're eye to eye. And Nick Saban is shorter than me. So, and there's scouts out there who don't believe that no matter how much gym time and how many, pounds of pasta Bryce Young eats, he'll never surpass 200 pounds. That's a huge concern. C.J. Stroud, lack of accuracy, doesn't throw wide receivers open. There's a lot of people who don't believe that Will Levis will ever amount to a starting quarterback in the NFL. To me, Anthony Richardson is the biggest wild card here, right? Mm-hmm. Because I've had scouts tell me that with the right training, and coaching, he could be better than Lamar Jackson. He could be better than Cam Newton. So if I was a team in need of a quarterback in the future, I think your best shot is to draft Anthony Richardson. But am I drafting Anthony Richardson in the top 5? No, I'm not. I actually believe that the quarterback class for next season is going to be the head and shoulders 1,000 times better than this. So if I'm a team that's in need of a quarterback, I'm going to either look for a really great player outside of the quarterback position, or I'm going to be looking to trade down to stockpile my picks for next year. That's what I'm doing. Anita
Marks is with us from ESPN's The Daily Wager. And, Anita, I'm going to give you full disclosure. I used to be one of those guys years ago. I was like, why would anybody want to watch the draft? I was now we see that it's always something good. Now this is a relatively new thing, betting on things that go on during the draft. I don't know about that. But I want to ask, for people that love to do it, they're going to make a night of it. They're going to have a lot of fun. They're going to gather somewhere. What should somebody's strategy be if you're going to try to put a little coin down on the draft?
Okay, so a few things. I'm going to give you my top draft picks, okay? So right now, again, I think it's going to be Bryce Young, Will Anderson, and C.J. Stroud. I think that's going to be your 1, 2, and 3. You could actually wager on that parlay that those will be the first, second, and third player taken. You get that at even money, okay? Anthony Richardson, I do believe he's going to go to the Colts at 4. You could wager on that at 2 to 1. if you don't think he's going to go to the Colts, but you do believe, I do believe that he's going to be taken early. Like I said, because I think he's the biggest wild card and he potentially has the highest ceiling. So I do believe that he's going to go in the top 8, and you could get that at plus 160. I do believe that there's going to be 5 quarterbacks that are taken in the first round. There's added incentive in doing that because if you draft a quarterback in the first round, you get him for an option year 6. So I do believe that Hendon Hooker, quarterback for Tennessee, is going to go in the first round, and you can get that at minus 130. I do believe that Kincaid will be the first tight end taken over the tight end from Notre Dame, Mayer, and you could get that at plus 145. I'm hearing that the Patriots want an offensive lineman, and they love Darnell Wright. So I'm going to wager that the Patriots go offensive lineman at plus 225. I'm also hearing that Tennessee wide receiver Hyatt potentially could be the second wide receiver taken in this draft. I'm going to go that he goes in the first round at plus 250. And also, I do believe that the running back from Texas, Robinson, will either go to Atlanta or Philadelphia in the top 10, and you could get that at plus 110. Those are my favorite picks and plays right now. So I've already laid those.
Okay.
I've already put those in. I've already gone to the window with those plays.
Okay.
Now my advice to everybody else is sit back, have a list together, do your due diligence, see what the experts out there are saying, who's going where, follow the draft, and do some in draft wagering.
Okay.
So as I just said, the Patriots, I know they like Darnell Wright. I know they want an offensive lineman. As we get to pick number 14, and if Darnell Wright is still on the board, do some live in wagering and put some money on Darnell Wright because I'm hearing that that's who they covet.
Okay, is there anything that you would say, like if you're sitting with your buddy, I'm sitting here with Derek, and Derek and I are at the draft, and he says, hey, Willie, I just bet on this, and I just put my hands in my head, and I say, what are you thinking? Is there any advice you would say, do not do this with your draft strategy? Stay away from these types of bets.
Do not do this. Yeah, I can't. I don't. The draft is so crazy, guys. I don't know. I'm not. I wouldn't tell anyone. We just don't you go back the last 3, 4, 5 years that the draft now has become. Listen, tonight is a big event, right? Since it has become a big. Don't you feel like every draft is even when the Giants drafted Daniel Jones, and I live here and I cover the team, I was like, whoa, Daniel Jones just got drafted in the top 10. Are you kidding me? I used another word, but this is a family show. I can't say what I actually said. But so crazy stuff happens. Crazy stuff is going to happen tonight, guys. I think there's going to be a ton of trades, by the way. I wouldn't be so. I think there's going to be at least 5, 6 trades tonight, possibly in the first round. How about that?
I probably would have told you don't bet on the Titans trading A.J. Brown on draft night last year, and we saw how that turned out.
Saw what happened.
Anita Marks is with us. Last one for you, Anita. Why are you saying Anthony Richardson 4 to Indianapolis? Is that what you're hearing? Is that just a hunch?
Well, like I said, I do believe that Anthony Richardson has the biggest ceiling. I feel that there's so much raw talent there, right? And Mason, you Derek, you could attest to this, right? There's quarterbacks out there pocket collapses, right? And then all of a sudden, they're scrambling for their life, and all of a sudden now you're 2nd and 18. Anthony Richardson is that kind of quarterback that he could just make magic work where, he just has this athleticism and this uncanny ability to evade that. So now, few times than often now you're back on 2nd and 10 as opposed to 2nd and 18. That holds a lot of weight with a lot of scouting departments. And he's so raw that if a team gets their hands on him and can really coach him up and really teach him for the next 2 or 3 years, the sky's the limit. And on top of that, in regard to the new head coach who's now with the Colts coming over, offensive coordinator from the Philadelphia Eagles, all you have to do now is implement your playbook that you used with Jalen Hurts. You're talking about the same skill set, possibly better. So I think there's a lot of reasons there why the Colts are looking at Anthony Richardson over Will Levis.
Well, thank you, Anita. We appreciate it, and thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate it. It's been a while since I heard your voice. So
I know. So great to hear your voice, my friend. You guys enjoy tonight. It's going to be so fun. It's going to be a wild carpet ride. Hopefully you wrote down those are my favorite picks. Like I said, I've already gone to the window. So hopefully we will have made some people some money today in Tennessee. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us, Anita. Enjoy the draft tonight. D-Mase has got a wild take. And we'll get into that coming up next in your thoughts as well. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
185! Every team needs a quarterback. 185! That's why we have
Hasselbeck, bootleg, rollout, toss, touchdown.
Tim.
You can run good plays at the right time.
ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck gives his expertise on all things NFL.
You evaluate players, and then you're turning them over to the coaching staff.
Every Tuesday at noon.
At the right time.
With Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase. Tim on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Along with being Middle Tennessee's Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer, Parman Tractor is your one-stop shop for professionals in the tree care and tree removal business. More bark brush chippers and Rayco stump grinders are industry-leading machines made for more to keep pace with you. And Parman's parts and service team will keep your machines running. Durability, efficiency, and trust. That's what you'll get with Moorbark and Rayco. And with Parman. Swing by Parman or visit ParmanTractor.com to learn more about Moorbark and Rayco. Parman Tractor's employee-owned team promises totally outrageous customer service.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
The Nashville Sheriff is hiring correctional officers. Earn $52,500 after paid training and probation. Positions are available immediately. You must be 21 and over with a high school diploma or GED. Come, join our family. That's $52,500 with great benefits. Apply now at sheriff.nashville.gov/apply or call 615-862-8170. Earn $52,500. Stop searching. Apply now. The Nashville Sheriff.
We try to stay cool by being on social media.
I'm with it. I'm hip.
Follow us on Twitter at 1025 The Game and on Instagram at 1025 The Game Nashville.
Hey!
Oh, yeah. And like us on Facebook, too. This is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase on 1025 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, do not miss Nashville's best NFL draft coverage on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. Join Jared Stillman, D-Mase, and Chris Sanders as they broadcast live tonight from Twin Peaks and Cool Springs, home of the 29-degree beer. They will be live starting at 6 o'clock with all of your pre-draft coverage and, of course, live reactions to every single pick tonight in the NFL draft. So you do not want to miss that. That'll be on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game tonight. I want to get into your thoughts because you've got a lot of thoughts on what the Titans should do tonight, what you think the Titans are going to do tonight. But D-Mase has got a hot take as far as the quarterbacks are concerned. Not a quarterback we've been talking a whole lot about.
Nah, and y'all should be. I mean, listen, I brought this guy up over a month ago. Not necessarily because I think he's a first-round draft pick. I don't think he is, but I think, he's a guy that is a little bit older, but he has all the skills. He has the skill sets that you need to win games. Now, could he win you a championship? I don't know. It's yet to be seen if any of these guys can win championships. More guys, you believe the top 2 guys can win you a championship more times than not, or the odds of them winning a championship is higher than anybody else's, but we just don't know. But to me, Stetson Bennett, and listen, whether you like him or not, like a Georgia fan or not, the guy's a good quarterback. And he was one of the best. If you're just looking at what he's been able to do over the last 2 years, especially this season, not having, some of the weapons that he had in previous seasons, what he was able to do and lead that team to back-to-back championships. And we can really say he did more this year for them to win it than he did last year.
He definitely did more.
Exactly.
Last year, I viewed Stetson Bennett, I guess 2 years ago, 2021, he's a passenger. All he needs to do is hand the ball off, short screens to the massive tight end, and it was the defense that won that championship. This year, Stetson Bennett at least did more.
Yeah, he had to do more.
He was a factor.
He was a leader. He made plays when he needed to make plays. He placed the ball where you want your leader and your top player to place balls. You want a quarterback to do. He did all these things. He is a winner. And I know that alone shouldn't be like, oh, he's going to get drafted first round or number 1 because he's a winner. We've seen a lot of winners at the quarterback position but couldn't come into the NFL and replicate that sort of winning pattern, a winning tradition. But he is a quarterback that sort of checks a lot of the boxes that you want to see. It's not like he doesn't do any one thing great or one thing bad. He does everything really good to good. He's above average when you're talking about college quarterbacks. He's a guy that I believe that if you wanted to draft him in the second round and allow him to sit a year and then sort of put him in, he can win games for you. He can be a starting quarterback in this league. He's displayed enough, at least in my eyes, that tells me, again, all these quarterbacks, if you go to the right system, look at, Brock Purdy or some of these other quarterbacks, they go to the right system at the right time with the right coaching, they can be above average quarterbacks. So they can be good to great quarterbacks.
What do you think Stetson Bennett can be in the NFL?
I think Stetson Bennett can be a starter in the NFL with the right team.
You're crazy.
With the right team. If he goes to the right team. Okay, just for instance, because we all do this. We believe that Kyle Shanahan is probably second or third when it comes to offensive minds.
Definitely top 3.
Yeah, top 3. He's definitely top 3.
McVay, Andy Reid.
I put Andy first, McVay probably second, or Sean Payton second. Now that he's back in, I will put him second, then McVay, and then Shanahan. So we put Stetson Bennett in a Shanahan coached offense. What do you think he is?
I mean, I guess Jimmy Garoppolo got his team to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
In a Kyle Shanahan offense. But also, I don't know if Stetson Bennett can do what Jimmy Garoppolo can do.
He can do everything, Jimmy. Have we watched him for 2 years? He moves well in the pocket. He can throw the football. He can make it just about. He doesn't have the strongest arm.
You think his arm is good enough?
But you don't need to have the strongest arm in the McVay offense. What is it? Not a McVay. Kyle Shanahan's offense. What if it? A lot of screens, intermediate routes, crossing routes, stuff like that. So we don't have to throw it deep. They're running basically the same offense here. Do you see them chucking the ball deep? No. Play action, hit those middle, and those intermediate routes to those crossing routes.
What about the outside? Can he throw outside the numbers to the sideline enough?
I think he can throw it well enough to play in this league. Yes.
Okay. Let me throw out just a couple guys who were great.
And again, I'm not saying he's a first rounder. I'm not saying that.
Sure.
I'm not saying that.
Well, one of the things that's emerged is the market for mid to late round quarterback prospects is smaller because a lot of them are staying in school because of NIL. You heard Tim Hasselbeck talk about Sam Hartman, who was at Wake Forest. Instead of going pro, he's going to Notre Dame, and he's going to probably make more money, and obviously he's going to play more than he would be if he's sitting with a clipboard as a guy trying to make an NFL team. So it's
Tyler Buckner just transferred to Alabama.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be a lot of that swirling around where quarterbacks are less likely to come out early, especially if they have opportunities to make pretty good money and continue to develop and be maybe more NFL ready when their eligibility runs out. So Bennett is probably a guy that will benefit from that.
He did benefit from it.
He absolutely is going to. So here's my question, though. Let me start some A.J. McCarron, Greg McElroy. I'm trying to think of some other examples of really good college quarterbacks on great teams who were not huge pro prospects. Like, what separates Bennett from this is those two guys.
From Duke, those two guys.
They got in there some. They turned out to be backups. They played a little bit. They had their time. They never really made it as starters.
The difference is, with the exception of probably McElroy, and even with him, let's say with him, they didn't have to, not at one point in their career, unless I'm wrong, and I could be wrong, they had to carry the team. Not one time they had to carry the team.
Yeah.
Stetson Bennett had to do that last year. More than once, more than twice. He had to do his part in order for them. Look at the championship game, what he had to do. So he had to do his part.
I don't know. How much did he have to do in the championship?
Well, there was plays he had to make in that game.
Against Ohio State.
Yeah, and
in the college football playoff.
He really, they went back and forth.
That was a good game.
He had to make sure he had to do his part as a quarterback and some to win that game. Because that was basically a track meet for everybody. The defenses was obsolete in that game. But the offenses had to step up, and Stetson Bennett stepped up. There wasn't many times that whether the two Alabama guys, McElroy and McCarron, I don't think
St. Louis Battlehawks quarterback A.J. McCarron to you.
There we go. I don't think they ever had to put this team on their shoulders and carry them because they always had that talent around them, immense talent in their defense. With the exception of 2 years ago, and we talked about it, he was just basically a passenger. He was like, okay, just don't mess it up. Just don't mess it up. But this year, this past season, they asked him to do more because they lost guys on the defense. They lost guys on offense, so he had to step up.
Still the best defense in college football.
But you don't win some of those games. The plays he was making against UT, he had to make those plays. He had to make those throws. What I'm saying is, listen, we know Georgia has a great team. I understand that, personnel-wise. They recruit well. But he did more this season than I think these other quarterbacks not named Bryce Young did for their team. But I'm not saying he's better than them. If you look at it, there's only really been one guy that had to do more, and that was Bryce Young. C.J. Stroud, as much as I love him, we know the deal there.
Yeah.
And I think he still would be he will be an all-pro player, I believe, C.J. Stroud.
We've got a lot of thoughts on this in the text line, and we will get into those coming up next. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5-106.3 The Game.
When it comes to NFL draft prep, there's no one better than TD. ESPN's Teron Davenport talks to the prospects.
There's 3 deals going at once, and whichever deal goes first sets the floor for the next one.
And brings you the best info on the Titans draft.
If Paris Johnson is the top player there, I think they would take him.
Teron Davenport, Mondays at 1, Thursdays at 3, and Friday mornings at 8. TD on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Attention buckaroos, it's time for the Franklin Rodeo. So saddle up and hold on to your lasso. It's 3 days of bull riding, calf roping, western wear, funny clowns, and some of the most talented horses you've ever seen. Join the Stampede from May 18th to May 20th. The Franklin Rodeo is held at the Williamson County Ag Expo Park and is brought to you by Ram Rodeo, Franklin Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Williamson Health, Event 1 FX, and Wesley Mortgage. Tickets on sale now at franklinrodeo.com. It's a buckin' good time.
The team at Mercedes-Benz of Music City have done it again. Here's Edwin Vickery to explain.
4-time recipient of Best of the Best. Less than 10% of the dealers in the country receive this award. How did you do it? We say
at Mercedes-Benz of Music City, mbofmc.com.
Hi, I'm Jamie with Souls for Souls, a global nonprofit based in Nashville that provides shoes and clothing to people across the world. We're joining forces with 1025 The Game for the second annual Music City Celebrity Golf Tournament on June 7th at the Hermitage Golf Course. A portion of the proceeds from the tournament will provide new shoes to children experiencing homelessness right here in Nashville. I hope you'll join us for an afternoon of fellowship and fun, all in support of a great cause. Go to thegamenashville.com for more information and to register.
This week's Nashville's best deal is Bite a Bit Thai and Sushi in the heart of East Nashville. Get half off a $30 gift card while supplies last at thegamenashville.com/deals. Featuring all the best Thai food, sushi, and cocktails, plus an amazing bar and environment. You can eat a bit and bite a bit with this week's half-off deal. Check out biteabitnashville.com. That's Bite a Bit in East Nashville. Half off at thegamenashville.com/deals.
Attention all fire and safety line experts. Middle Tennessee's fastest growing fire protection company is looking for experienced service technicians, designers, and sprinkler system experts like you. Tired of working for a large corporate employer? Work for a company where you're more than just a number. Jarrett Fire Protection is owned and operated by Nashville natives and wants to invite you to grow with their amazing team.
Hi, I'm Jason Jarrett, owner of Jarrett Companies. I'm looking to hire experienced sprinkler experts and will offer a sign-on bonus of up to $5,000 for certified professionals. In addition to our great benefits that include a 401k match, PTO, and top pay with annual bonuses, we will also provide you with the top-of-the-line tools, trucks, and equipment that you need to grow your career. Our customer base is large and business is booming with many opportunities for advancement. Give us a call or go online to jarrettfire.com and apply today to become a member of our family and protect our community. That's JARRETT fire.com. Jarrett Companies, where we are above and beyond industry standards.
94.9 The Fan is your home for Hit City.
Tonight, your Nashville Sounds continue their homestand at First Horizon Park against Omaha. Swing and a miss, strike three. Sounds win. Pre-game at 6:20.
On your home of Nashville Sounds baseball. 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
What's up, Nashville? This is Stephen A. Smith. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
They go to the right system at the right time with the right coaching. They can be above average quarterbacks, so they can be good to great quarterbacks.
What do you think Stetson Bennett can be in the NFL?
I think Stetson Bennett can be a starter in the NFL with
I
the
think
right
you're
team.
Crazy.
With the right team. If he goes to the right team.
Stetson Bennett superfan, Derek Mason.
Yes.
We'll get your thoughts on it, but first, be the first person to answer Willy's trivia question correctly, and you will win a pair of tickets to see the Outlaw Music Festival at First Bank Amphitheater on September 10th. The concert features Willie Nelson, Bobby Weir, and Wolf Brothers, Los Lobos, and Particle Kid. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. The first person with the correct answer to Willy's trivia question, Willy, take it away.
All right. We had a little reminiscing earlier in the show with Derek Mason talking about his draft day experience in 1997. He was picked by, at that point, the Tennessee Oilers. Now, here's the question. 1997 draft. There's a lot of speculation this year. Paris Johnson Jr. from Ohio State, offensive tackle, could be in the mix for definitely in the first round. Maybe the Titans. Who knows? You'll hear that name. A tackle from Ohio State was the first overall pick in 1997. Who was this Buckeye? 615-737-1025 to get the tickets.
I know who it is.
An offensive tackle from Ohio State was the first overall pick in 1997, the year that Derek Mason entered the NFL. 615-737-1025. Can you name this enormous man who liked to pancake people? He was pretty good.
Oh, he was really good. Yes. Damn good.
Did he have a successful career in the NFL?
Oh, very successful.
Oh, definitely.
Okay,
yes.
all right.
Yes.
He's got a ring.
Yeah.
He's got a ring. That's all I'm going to tell you.
All right, the first person with the correct answer to Willy's trivia question will win a pair of tickets to see Outlaw Music Festival at First Bank Amphitheater. Let's get your text, 615-737-1025. It's draft day. It's your day. Our phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Frederick texts in, says, what would the Titans think if about taking Jake Haener in the 4th round? Jake Haener, the quarterback out of Fresno State. If he's the best player on your board at that point, then I guess. But it's an awful. Let's say you take a quarterback in the 1st round. You're not taking Jake Haener in the 4th round.
Well, okay. This brings up another thing that I've had on my mind about what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. Okay, because it never fails. We're going to be grading the pick and everything like that. But with all this hype, all this excitement about maybe drafting the next quarterback, if they don't draft a quarterback, will there be a lot of backlash? Oh, how come you didn't get the quarterback? There's going to be some of those people, right?
I'm sure there will be.
I think if you're Rand Carthon, you have to, again, stay away from, I have to win the press conference. You don't win the Super Bowl necessarily on winning the press conference at draft day.
Right.
It's smart plays. Let the draft come to you. Maybe it's the quarterback, but maybe it's not. I just feel like, again, don't chase the one guy necessarily, unless that guy is out there for a really good deal. But I do wonder, he's going to have to take the podium late tonight, tomorrow, or when they sort of process the whole thing, and maybe they do one on Monday. We're like, why didn't you take the quarterback, man? You didn't take the quarterback? These quarterbacks were out there. Why didn't you take one? You just heard our last guest. She wasn't all that fired up about these quarterbacks.
No,
being the guy.
No,
she's not alone in that either.
Yeah, I think
not alone.
There's quite a few people that probably think that way, especially looking at this year's class compared to potentially what next year's class could look like. I think people are saying next year's class is probably more than likely the better class if you want a quarterback. So I mean, with these, the Titans are in if they don't get a quarterback, say if Arizona decides not to move out of 3 and the Titans don't get a quarterback, then people are going to be saying, well, why didn't you try to move up to 3 to get a quarterback? So I guess they're as far as, winning the press conference, they're at a no-win battle unless they get a quarterback. Because if you don't, you're going to get criticized.
If you do.
Yeah, if you do and it's not the right guy, they feel you're going to get criticized. So
it's interesting because I think more times than not, your team going to get a quarterback, it lights the fan base on fire. They get so excited about it. I think that there's part of the fan base that does feel that way, but I just from, reading our texts in the text line, listening to callers, feeling a vibe that I get for a lot of Titans fans, that there is a good population of Titans fans that don't want the Titans to do that look at it and just say, hey, be a little bit more conservative, stay at 11, trade back, get an offensive lineman. It's not a sexy pick, but just, we've seen how poorly this team performs when the offensive line is as bad as it was last year. So I think that whatever the Titans do tonight, there's going to be a group of people that are excited about it. There's going to be a group of people that think they're wrong, no matter what it is. But I just want to remind everyone that you can't grade a draft. You can't evaluate a draft class before they take snaps in the NFL. I don't think it's fair to grade a draft pick until like 2, 3, 4 years into the future. Because if I could grade the Titans' 1st round last year, I would say D. Trading away A.J. Brown and then drafting Treylon Burks, who wasn't able to stay healthy. But in 3 years, Treylon Burks could be a Pro Bowler. And then that trade looks really smart.
Oh, yeah,
that you got younger and cheaper. Right. So I think you need to let it give it some time before you really evaluate a draft class, a draft pick, whatever it might be. Because you could look at the 2017 draft and say, there's only one good quarterback in this year's draft. It's Mitch Trubisky. Well, Patrick Mahomes got taken in that draft. So you never know how things fall.
Mitch. And I think, I think some of those same people, they say, well, just be patient, let the draft, you got so many other spots to fill, draft an offensive lineman. But that's some of those same people are saying, because next year's draft is the draft for quarterbacks.
And next year's draft after that.
Exactly. I can't roll the dice and predict we will even be in a position to draft one of these quarterbacks, Drake May or Caleb Williams or whoever else, because there's going to be one or two other quarterbacks that come out that just wow everybody. Well, we can't bank on, just get your offensive lineman or your receiver or whoever, and we'll just wait till next year to get our quarterback. No, you can't do that.
And it's going to be the reaction, I know, and I will never tell fans how they should feel.
Oh, yeah.
But give it some time.
Give
it some time. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Right back into your phones coming up next. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
When it comes to Nashville sports,
blocking out Jeffrey Simmons, clearly that was a priority for them.
He knows his stuff.
A little bit good, a little bit bad.
And knows how to push the right buttons.
He's coming off an ACL tear, and he's 25 years old, so you cannot ignore that.
Join Outkick's Chad Withrow every Friday at 5 with Stillman and Company. Withrow.
What I hate more than anything is people that are phony and not true to themselves.
Is on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Man, listen up. I need to tell you something about Cool Springs MD. Yes, it is draft day, first day, round 1, and you will see your Tennessee Titans pick whoever, whether it's a quarterback, running back, offensive lineman, coach. I don't know who they're going to pick. They're going to pick somebody. But before all of that, over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and his wife Daphne, along with that experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life. Cool Springs MD services have already helped many men of Brentwood, Nashville, and the surrounding areas in Tennessee with improving their immune systems, energy levels, cognitive functions, and more. They are there to connect you with the medical care you require to have a healthy and enriched life. There's no better time now to achieve a healthy lifestyle. So, men, what are you waiting for? Before you get settled down and watch that draft today, you need to call Dr. Jeffrey Lodge in Cool Springs MD for an appointment. Here's the number, 615-486-3458, 615-486-3458. And, fellas, if you got your kids with you or your wife, kids, please remind your husband to call, or your boyfriend to call Cool Springs MD, okay? Or go on the website. That's coolspringsmd.com.
Imagine her delight when she unwraps a luxurious spa day from A Moment's Peace, the newly remodeled day spa and salon in Cool Springs. Whether you spend a little or go lavish, you can take comfort that your gift will be treasured, your love on display and a smile on her face. What a thoughtful romantic you are. Give affordable luxury from A Moment's Peace for mums, dads, and grads in Cool Springs across I-65 from Galleria Mall at the intersection of Carruthers Parkway and Bakersbridge Avenue. Call 224-0770 or click online anytime at momentspeace.com.
Real estate investors, listen up. D&M Development announces the pre-sale of Nashville's only non-owner occupied short-term rental resort community. The New Cumberland is perfectly located between Germantown and East Nashville with amazing views of the city and the Cumberland River. The New Cumberland is a resort-style community featuring community pools, spacious kitchens, 4 bedrooms, and 4 baths. D&M Development is releasing 16 units in their Phase 1. Available now. Go to thenewcumberland.com for information. That's thenewcumberland.com.
Interest rates are up, but not at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Don't sweat it out another summer. Replace your old unit fast before new regulations increase prices up to 20%. Get a new unit today at today's price and receive up to $1,500 off. Or get 18 months of no payments so your first payment's not due till fall of 2024. At Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, all new systems come with a 10-year parts and labor warranty. Book your appointment now at springhillac.com. That's springhillac.com. And happy spring.
It's almost time to celebrate all the moms out there, and Kitchen Notes in the Omni Nashville Hotel would like to invite you to their special Mother's Day brunch. Celebrate this special day with Mom and enjoy Chef John Welch's amazing traditional farm-to-fork Southern dishes with recipes handed down from generations. Get your reservations in today as availability will fill up quickly. Kitchen Notes in the heart of Sobro inside the Omni Nashville Hotel features their Mother's Day brunch from 10 a.m. to 3, and you can make your reservation on OpenTable.com.
The Sports Talk doesn't end on Friday. Join Michelle Knezovic and Junie Riddle for Michelle and Junie.
As long as he wants to coach there, he will be able to coach there.
I think that really did save the hope of this team.
Michelle and Junie, presented by Superbook Sports, every Saturday morning at 9 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. having some fun in the midday.
Okay, that's really fun.
This is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase.
It's a good source of energy because it's live.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
I'm so excited to hear that little chime tonight. Draft day is here. Tune in for Nashville Sounds Baseball tonight at 6:35 p.m. on 94.9 The Fan. The Sounds take on the Omaha Storm Chasers, the AAA affiliate of the Kansas City Royals. Sounds Baseball on 94.9 The Fan, presented by 312 Pizza, Farm Bureau Health Plans, and Family Leisure. Unless we have thoughts?
Well, real quick, let's give the answer. By the way, when I hear that little sound thing, I think during the pandemic, and we all had nothing to do, my son and his good buddy from the neighborhood, they put together a draft for TikTok, but they were drafting what slice of the pizza you would take in the first round and the second round. It was pretty well done.
That is
I mean,
good.
they had nothing but time on their hands because nobody could go anywhere or anything. So we were watching college football, and they did this whole thing with shirts and ties, and I announced the pick. I was the commissioner, and they came after. I mean, it was all in. It was all in. So that was good.
How creative we had to be to keep ourselves busy for, over a year.
And then one of them would break down the pick. They had the telestrator. They circled the pizza with the, I like the corner slice here. It's really well done. The crusty outside.
So it must have been a square pizza, pan pizza.
It was a square pizza. Yeah. So they argued over the corner piece as opposed to the piece with no crust in the middle. It was a good debate. It killed a whole night for us. We got on to the next day.
I can see it.
Yeah.
We were one day closer to being out of the pandemic.
On to the next day, gonna have to find a completely new, different thing
to draft. Another way to waste time.
Gonna have to get creative with it.
So our draft question today, the first pick in the draft that Derek was a part of, was Orlando Pace, 1997. The big fella. St. Louis Rams, who were a bad team, obviously, that had the first pick, but a couple years later, Orlando Pace is part of a great Rams team that beat the Titans in the Super Bowl. So you and Orlando were on collision course.
Create a show
Derek
on turf.
Picked in the same draft.
Yeah.
By the way, a side note.
He won a Super Bowl.
The first pick in the 93 draft for Major League Baseball. There's a trivia question for you.
That would be.
That was the draft. That was the draft that I was in. So who was the first pick in the draft that I was in?
Willie wouldn't know that one.
I was a 25th rounder.
Yeah.
So who was the first pick?
Damn.
In 93.
Like a day over a first rounder.
That's right. That's right. Well, I was not close to the first round. But here's the other thing we got to discuss. When we give the trivia question, what do we say every day? Don't text the text line. The answer. But how many people texted the text line today?
About 30.
You can't win. You
That's
can't
okay.
win.
You can't win, Ron.
I understand there's some people in their cars or listening on their home speakers, or I have to let you know it's Orlando Pace.
That's what we need to do. We need to get Adrian from Rocky 3 going, you can't win.
You can't win. Do not text.
That's the soundbite.
Call.
Nick, find that soundbite. Is it Rocky 3 or Rocky 4 when she says, you can't win?
It was Rocky 3 because he was fighting Clubber Lang.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
All right, I'm scared. I'm scared.
Let's get into some of your draft thoughts.
Don't text the answer in. You have to call. Somebody did call, though. We have a winner, so congratulations.
Congratulations. Enjoy the festival. Enjoy Willie Nelson.
All right, now we can go to the text line.
Phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com. One texter texts in and says, get linemen and receivers and a defensive player. Look at how excited everyone was about Malik, and he's a bust. Go get Cedric Tillman. He's a dog. Getting Malik Willis in the third round and him not working out and not looking like he's your quarterback of the future doesn't mean you should never draft another quarterback again. In fact, it means that you should get back out there and go find another quarterback because this one is not your quarterback of the future. Cedric Tillman is a dog, though.
Yeah, I mean, Cedric Tillman, I would draft him late second, third round. But that's not going to, negate me from looking at the quarterback position. And if I can get the guy that we all want as a GM, then I'm going to do what's necessary, to go up and get it. That's if everyone's on the same page and everyone's saying, hey, listen, this is what we need to do to get that quarterback. So get him. Well, I'm going to get him. So, but Cedric Tillman would be a great pick too, late second, third round.
One text you're texting about your boy, Stetson Bennett.
My boy.
Mr. Stetson Bennett.
Mr. Stetson Bennett. This is what you're forgetting with Stetson Bennett is how he behaves off the field. That arrogance will get him in trouble. While he has natural talent, I don't think he has the heart and desire that someone like Justin Fields possesses, who plays through injury and never complains that he has no offensive line and has to scramble not to get killed. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say somebody is upset about getting beat by Stetson Bennett in the college football playoff.
Because, other than, I know he got arrested for drunkenness, public intoxication. I know he got arrested for that. Has there been something else that came out that I'm not aware of?
There are a lot of people, a lot of Alabama, Tennessee, Florida fans who don't like how cocky Stetson Bennett is. And I think it's
if
more
he was your quarterback, you would love it.
He would love it.
Again, y'all know what I said about that. I love it. If that's how you are on the field, I love it. I don't know how the young man is off the field. I don't follow him around. It doesn't seem like that has been a knock on him from scouts. It could be. I don't know, but that hasn't come up. What has come up is him being 5'11", the whole route he had to take, him being an older quarterback. Is he an elite quarterback? More than likely not. But I don't think teams are shying away from him in later rounds, because of this sort of cockiness. Y'all just don't like Stetson Bennett because he probably beat y'all.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't
if
either.
If he beat Michigan State, I'd be like, man, don't draft that dude.
I can't stand that guy.
I don't like Michigan guys.
I also was thinking,
I like Bryce Young because my team beat Bryce Young.
Exactly.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I don't think there's been a second incident, right? Just
no,
the
that's
one
what I'm
where
saying.
he had to say act like it is. But remember, he's been in college for like 14 years. So
yeah, that too.
You have a lot of chances to do something dumb.
You have a lot of chances to mess up, and he really hasn't. But 1 year. So, and to the texter, if you have more, evidence or anything, let us know, because I'm only going by the thing that has been reported, and that was the public intoxication. And if there's any other things that are out there, please let us know, and it could change my mind. I don't know, but I'm not saying but from what I've heard and what I've seen, there hasn't been much. Other than that one incident.
I think he got arrested for public intoxication. That's what I think is the only thing. And I'm not going to downplay that.
I'm not going to downplay that either. But
also, come on.
Exactly. How many of y'all walked outside?
He got drunk and knocked on the wrong door.
Exactly.
I can live with that one. Ben texts into the text line, not Indy Ben, just regular Ben. If we aren't shooting for a special quarterback for the future, we may as well keep Ryan. And when Ryan is too old, we can just get a younger version of Ryan. I hope we are looking for a level-up quarterback instead. My interpretation of it, Ryan's your quarterback in 2023. Whether you draft Anthony Richardson, whether you draft Will Levis, things could change. But right now, Ryan Tannehill is your quarterback in 2023. That's exactly what the Titans are, or at least what I think, trying to do in this year's draft, is to level up, is to find that quarterback of the future. So in 2024, when you move on from Ryan Tannehill, you've got your quarterback of the future that you drafted in 2023 that sat on the bench and learned the offense for the entirety of the season.
And he could be Will Levis up.
Will level up.
Yes.
Will Levis up.
Y'all like that.
The crowd goes wild. Hayden from Springfield says, what happens when the Titans move up to 3, get the guy they want, and then they're a bust? We just wasted 3 to 4 years developing a guy that busts, then we have no future picks to get a new guy because we gave everything up for him. No thanks.
If
Doomsday prepping.
Yeah, if that thought process was how teams operated every year, no one would have a quarterback. No one would have a quarterback, or at least quarterbacks wouldn't be drafted as high as they have been in recent years. So sometimes you just have to take a leap of faith, and believe what you're seeing on film. And if you interview the guy, believe what you are hearing, and then you make your pick based upon that. You can't see with your eyes all this great stuff, and then when you interview him, there's great things coming out. But then, well, a lot of these guys really don't work out, so I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna draft him. I'm not gonna give up a first or a second to move up to get that guy. if that was the case, then there would be a lot of these quarterbacks wouldn't get drafted in the first round, especially Anthony Richardson. He would be more like a 5th or 6th round pick. But you can't operate like that. You got to trust what you see, trust what you see, trust the information that you're getting from your scouts and everything else, and make a sound decision based on that.
And to the texture's point, what happens if that happens? If you move up to number 3 and that quarterback's a bust, then you lose games. Mike Vrabel and Rand Carthon both get fired.
And you just got to start over.
And then you move forward. Is it ideal? No. It's not. Absolutely not. But
more teams than not do that. What that texture is saying, more teams than not, that happens to them.
Coming up next, this is something that I started last year. I went back to 2018 and graded the final mock drafts from 5 NFL draft gurus. So I did that for last year's draft. We will see who was the best mock drafter and use that to see which mock draft we should use, the final mock draft that we should use as our Bible for draft night. And we'll do that coming up next. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 3.5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. RAMP.com/sports.
Does this sound familiar? Did your agent provide excellent entertainment with their TikTok videos and constant social media posts about themselves while completely ignoring that you hired them to sell your home? Did they tell you how wonderful they were? How many followers they had? They probably never sold your home, but hey, they did get 15 likes on their selfies. #MyClientsLoveMe. Don't let that happen to you. Google TJ Anderson Homes and see why the only likes we care about are our clients loving our service. Ask us about our prepay with TJ option and how it can save you thousands. TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. Office number 615-432-2919.
What if you could be credit card debt-free in 10 days and save as much as $1,000 a month? Loan Pronto's all-new Express Equity Line of Credit program is just what you need. Willy Donick here. You don't have to do a full home refi. You can tap a small portion of the equity you have and enjoy a super low monthly payment. With Loan Pronto's Express Equity Credit Line, you can close in 7 to 10 days, and a $50,000 loan would only cost you around $400 a month. Use that money to pay off high-interest credit cards or do a home improvement. You can access up to 90% of your home's equity, and 9 out of 10 homeowners won't even need an appraisal. Even if you did a total refi recently or just bought your home, you can tap the equity with this fast, easy program. Stop the madness and say no to 24% interest fees. Call Loan Pronto today. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Green Trees Company Dispensary and 102.5 The Game want to send you to see the legendary Steve Miller Band live April 30th at First Bank Amphitheater. Keep listening to Nashville's best sports talk all week long for your cue to call to win tickets to see Steve Miller Band, courtesy of Green Trees Company Dispensary.
Now, your Game Center update.
This is Nick Keyser. The Colorado Avalanche are on their toes in the NHL postseason as they've been taking on Seattle in the opening round. In the opening 2 minutes of the third period last night, Seattle sealed the game in Game 5. Here's how it sounded on the Kraken Radio Network.
Bjorkstrand off the end board, sending it up top. Carson Soucy scores! The Souse is loose in Game 5. 3-1 Seattle.
The NFL draft is today. The Tennessee Titans hold the number 11 pick, and ESPN's Diana Rossini said this morning that GM Rand Carthon and head coach Mike Vrabel have been in lockstep preparing for the draft and that their draft board was set as of yesterday. And the Miami Heat eliminated the Milwaukee Bucks last night with a 16-point comeback in the fourth quarter. Miami forced overtime, winning 128-126. You're listening to 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 1025 The Game or visit thegamenashville.com. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUZ HD2 Laverne.
Bobby and Rex Road. Chase and Michelle.
Caroline, Willy, D-Mase.
Stone and Company.
Nashville's best sports talk.
Crank it up.
1025 and 1063.
Crank City score.
Both sides of the one big possession.
Touchdown, Middle Tennessee.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Covering your teams and the news of the day.
Ladies and gentlemen,
this is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase.
Who is pleasant to listen to.
With Caroline Fenton, Willie Donick, and former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason.
You are hands down my favorite radio personalities of all time.
On 1025 and 1063 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
With no further ado,
Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 1025, 1063 The Game, and the Game Nashville app. We're live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Game Studios, streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook Live every single day. Our video streaming is brought to you by Superbook Sports on this lovely draft day. And do not miss Nashville's best NFL draft coverage on 1025 and 1063 The Game. We will be live starting at 6 o'clock tonight. Jared Stillman, D-Mase, Chris Sanders. They will have live reactions and live insight tonight on 1025, 1063 The Game starting at 6 o'clock. But tomorrow, you can join me, D-Mase, and Chris Sanders on location as we broadcast live for day 2 of the draft. We'll be out at the Inglewood Wingstop located at 3300 Gallatin Pike, where Flavor gets its wings. The first 100 people to stop by during the draft will receive a coupon for 5 free boneless wings for their next visit. D-Mase and I made some Wingstop ranch yesterday.
Yes, and
gave a little something.
And don't let the little sweet face over there with Caroline fool you, okay? Because she cheated yesterday.
I'm innocent.
She cheated, yes. They had an extra person making a special sauce. Or special. It was supposed to be, Team Brian and Team Patrick. She was Team Patrick. I was Team Brian.
Those were our Wingstop employees.
Yeah, Wingstop employees. One is the owner, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Patrick. So it was supposed to be 2-on-2. So me and Brian, we in the lead. We dip it in, pack the top on, set them on a thing.
We were racing. Whoever could fill more ranch cups.
All of a sudden, somebody screams out from the back, "There's a third person! There's a third person with Caroline!" So they cheated. They added a third person when it was a 2-on-2 game.
I plead the fifth. But
how does that happen, Willie?
We did win.
That sounds like there's some shenanigans going on there.
There was some collusion. I'm not going to lie. But we did win by any means necessary.
There we go.
But we will be back out there tomorrow for rounds 2 and 3 of the NFL draft. So I started doing this last year. Mm-hmm. I believe I said 2018 earlier. It's 2019. So I graded the final mock drafts from 5 NFL draft gurus: Dane Brugler, Daniel Jeremiah, Mel Kiper Jr., Todd McShay, and Peter King. From 2019, 2020, 21, and the 2022 drafts. The final mock drafts graded them to what actually happened to see, okay, which NFL draft guru can we trust the most? Whose final mock draft are we going to run with? So I did it again for the 2022 drafts. So before I graded the 22 drafts, both Dane Brugler and Peter King had the best drafts according to my system. Mm-hmm. That system being, if you have the correct pick all the way around, correct team, correct player, in the correct spot, you get 3 points. You get 2 points if it's the correct position, wrong player. Like, let's say if Dane Brugler had the Titans taking a receiver, and he thought it was going to be Chris Olave, but it ended up being Treylon Burks. That's 2 points because he at least got the same position. If it's the correct team but the wrong pick, or the correct order of selection, the wrong team. So let's say there was a trade, but Daniel Jeremiah had this player going 16th overall to the Texans, but they actually went 16th overall in a trade to the Commanders. 2 points. 1 point if it's the correct position group but the wrong player or the exact position. Like, let's say Mel Kiper Jr. thought they were going to take a corner, but they took a safety. I'll throw you a bone there. I'll give you 1 point. So according to my grading system, from 2019 through 2021, Dane Brugler and Peter King had the best mock drafts. Mel Kiper Jr. had the lowest score of all 5 of them.
Okay.
Had a little bit of a shakeup in the 2022 mock drafts. There were a ton of trades last year. Nobody saw that coming. So my takeaways, everybody knew for the most part the top 2 or 3 picks. Everybody called Trayvon Walker to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Everybody called Aiden Hutchinson to the Detroit Lions. Most of these NFL draft gurus had the number 3 pick of Derek Stingley Jr., the corner out of LSU, going to the Houston Texans. But there were so many trades in the middle of the draft that these were the lowest graded mock drafts for all of these draft gurus except Mel Kiper Jr. So I'll ask you all, how do we want to move forward? Is it the best total score from 2019 to 2022? Is it the best score just in 2022? How do we want to move forward with this?
I have one question.
Of course.
Did you go... How many rounds deep? Did you go the whole draft or just the first round? Okay.
Oh, yeah, I don't have that much time, really.
I was really going to start. I had some follow-up questions if you told me you were going all the way down to the 7th round.
Like, did you get some sleep?
And so I'm thinking if I'm Mel Kiper, I was like, well, what about my second rounds? My second rounds are really good. You know, I don't know, but I think that's a really interesting exercise because, like I've said before, like, what's the penalty for being wrong? There really is none.
You just get no points.
Yeah, but I'm saying you get to go back and do your job next year.
Yeah,
like, how bad would you have to do in these things?
I think you have
to lose your job. Mel
not
Kiper.
get any
I
of
sent
them.
you guys the clip back in the 1994 when the guy went on a tie right. They passed on Trent Dilfer. They picked
Was
the
that
Colts.
Mortensen? Was that Mortensen?
Mortensen was doing the interview.
Yeah.
Sat down with a guy that worked for the Colts, and they had picked the kid out of Nebraska who was a defensive line. Didn't turn out to be a bad player, but
not Entman.
It wasn't him, but it was somebody like that. Yeah. But he just went off on Mel Kiper. Who is Mel Kiper? He's never taken a snap, that whole thing, right? And Mel Kiper's sitting there on live TV going, whoa.
Very awkward.
Yeah. I mean, it was hilarious, but Mel Kiper's been doing it ever since. It doesn't matter. I've always wondered who keeps score. Does anybody say, hey, if he drops below a certain level of accuracy, we got to make a change.
Listen to him no more. Yeah.
Before this past year, so just 2019, 20, and 21 drafts, Peter King had a total of 115. Todd McShay, 108. Daniel Jeremiah, 127. Dane Brugler, 136. Mel Kiper, 98. So he was significantly below, at least to my
I mean,
grading
if
system.
you want to, I think we should do, the whole, not just, a part. Do the whole, which is what, 2019
through 2022.
2022, yeah, because I think, like anything else, it's like every blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while,
right.
Or if you're in that contract year, you're gonna play extra hard, But I'm not gonna forget about what you did the 3 years prior either. So we got to factor all that in. But I think we should take the whole. Who did the best from 19 to 22, and go that route?
The best from 2019 to 2022, Peter King. So we will break down Peter King's mock draft coming up next. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
The college football season never stops. ESPN college football analyst Trevor Manich joins Stillman and Company every Tuesday at 4:30.
They've got to do what Nick Saban in Alabama has done so successfully over the last 10 years.
Presented by Houston Clinic Orthopedics on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
All right, let's tell you once again about our friends over at Lee Company, 615-567-1000. You never know when you might need that number because there's a lot of different ways that they can help you. The number one way is to avoid the crisis situation and go with the preventive maintenance, and that's your home maintenance plan, the year-round coverage of your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric systems. It's what runs your house, and if you're in your house long enough, you're eventually going to need some repairs, but you want to stay out of the crisis, and you get the annual checkups from the home maintenance plan, They're going to find those small problems before they become big problems. That's the way to go. It's going to save you money on the long term because they'll give you discounts on repairs when they are needed at Lee Company. It's the home maintenance plan. We use it in our house. 615-567-1000 or leecompany.com. It's Lee Company, proud sponsor, Nashville Predators.
B&B Flooring has a goal to bring your dream floor to you. Over 30 years running and locally owned and operated, B&B Flooring's full-service, commercial, and residential team will handle anything from tile, luxury vinyl, carpet, hardwood, rubber, and all commercial products.
Visit their showroom at 2204 Northwest Broad Street in Murfreesboro or check them out at bnbflooringtn.com to make your flooring selection today. Call 615-216-0551 and schedule a free quote at your home or office.
We got you covered.
Harmon Energy is your one-stop petroleum solution across all of Tennessee, offering turnkey petroleum solutions for professionals in major industries, serving trucking fleets, construction companies, industrial plants, and more. Whether a large corporation or owner-operator, Harmon Energy has your diesel fuel, lubricant, DEF, and equipment needs. No matter how you're getting there, start with Parman. Visit ParmanEnergy.com for more info. Your Tennessee petroleum solution, providing totally outrageous customer service.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Want to weigh in on the conversation?
It's a brain booster.
Slide into our DMs. Or just text or call at 615-737-1025. Our phone line is driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Having some fun in the midday.
Yeah, it's awesome.
This is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Caroline, Willy, D-Mase join 102.5 The Game for the second annual Music City Celebrity Golf Tournament presented by Gary Force Acura, benefiting Souls for Souls on June 7th at Hermitage Golf Course. Put your team together and come play with athletes, musicians, and other local celebrities to support a great cause and have loads of fun. Plus, you'll have the chance to win awesome prizes, so sign up to play, sponsor, or donate at thegamenashville.com/golf. So I have my own system of grading mock drafts, and I picked 5 NFL draft gurus who I think are kind of the top NFL draft gurus: Peter King, Todd McShay, Mel Kiper Jr., Daniel Jeremiah, and Dane Brugler. And I've compared their final mock drafts to the actual draft, graded it with my grading system, and we have concluded, based off of that grading system, that Peter King is the most accurate mock drafter. He has a total of 140, leads the pack with Dane Brugler just very close behind at 136. Better luck next year, Dane Brugler. So let's take that and apply it to this year's mock drafts. We think Peter King is the most accurate mock drafter, at least according to my system. So let's look into Peter King's final mock draft for the 2023 NFL Draft. Number 1, Bryce Young. No surprise there. I don't think he's Bryce Young at 1. And this tonight, and in every mock draft, the number 2 pick, I think, then decides what's going to happen from there. Who's calling Arizona for the number 3 overall pick, how the rest of the board falls. He is buying into the hype that the Houston Texans don't like C.J. Stroud. It's something that John McClain has reported several times, both on our station and on Hot Mic with Hutton and Withrow. He has Houston taking Tyree Wilson, the edge rusher, out of Texas Tech. Something John McClain said, they love Tyree Wilson. Is it a smokescreen? We will find out in just about 6 hours. Number 3, drum roll please. The Tennessee Titans taking C.J. Stroud, quarterback out of Ohio State. Peter King says, how cool would it be if the two rookie GMs in the first round combined to shake it up? Like your point earlier, Willie. So this trade and pick makes sense, but honestly, I have no idea if it'll happen.
So Peter King's going for the movie. He's trying to get dibs on the movie script.
The blockbuster kind of
made for Hollywood kind of
storyline here.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I would not be surprised if the Titans do trade up to number 3. Peter King says it's for C.J. Stroud.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can get there with C.J. Stroud. The only reason being, Rand Carthon in his press conference on Monday said how important it is to get in front of these guys, to meet them face to face, to get to know them as a person, not just a player. He didn't get the opportunity to do that with C.J. Stroud. Now, Mike Vrabel did.
Yeah.
He and Tim Kelly went to his pro day. They sat down with him. They had a meeting with him in Columbus. Rand Carthon has not. I don't know what quarterback the Titans like. It could be Levis. It could be Richardson. It could be C.J. Stroud, the Ohio State connection with Mike Vrabel. If it is C.J. Stroud, the Titans do make that trade up to number 3 and do take C.J. Stroud like Peter King thinks is going to happen, that he writes in his most recent mock draft. How would we step away from draft night?
I would step away from it thinking they did what they felt they needed to do to draft the quarterback that they believe can lead their franchise or this franchise to a Super Bowl. I don't know how you could be right now. I don't know how you could be upset. I mean, like upset with if indeed they did that, because, you know, they would have addressed a dire need after this season, but addressing it this season. And if you believe what you see from C.J. Stroud, then he should be a damn good quarterback in this league. You know, and will put your team in a position to win championships. So I don't know if you can. I wouldn't be upset with it. I wouldn't be shocked either. I would be like, okay, they did exactly what they needed to do, you know, to move up. Now, I guess what I would be sort of waiting on is, what did they give up?
That's the thing.
Yeah, what did they give up?
So when you say how would you feel, that's what I have to know.
That's part of it.
Does it look like a reach?
Mm-hmm.
Does it look like a huge price to get up to number 3? I've been saying all along, I'm not a big fan of going up to number 3.
Do you think they get more than, because what we try to do is compare it to past trades when it comes to quarterbacks, not necessarily draft trades, but just trades of marquee quarterbacks anyway.
Right.
The last trade that was made was Green Bay to the Jets. We know what the Jets had to give up, and we're looking like, man, could they have gotten more?
Mm-hmm.
So what if they gave up what the Jets gave up to move up? How would y'all feel then?
Let's see. So
it was a first.
So swapping
they
your
swapped first.
Mm-hmm.
They got a second this year, right?
A second and a sixth.
They got a second this year and a sixth, and a conditional second that could be a one next year.
So would that be giving up too much?
If I could do that, I'd do that in a heartbeat.
Exactly. To me, I'm thinking like, man, I would do that.
No way Arizona is taking
that. Yeah, you're right. But if we're looking at the most recent trade, and I know they look at it totally different. Like, hey, listen, he's an older quarterback. Yes, he's one of the best still, but he's an older quarterback. You're talking about a young quarterback with the potential to change your franchise. That's how we approach it.
Are you willing to walk in 1 year from now and not have a first-round pick with where this team is?
If I have my quarterback, yeah.
Okay.
I am.
All right. That's a key question.
That's a question they'll have to ask themselves. Or at least they may already know the answer to that.
Yeah.
They've already laid the groundwork, I am sure, to just get a ballpark of what the price would be. Of course, that price can change. If and when the Texans take a Tyree Wilson or a Will Anderson, we had Anita Marks' Daily Wager on ESPN. She said she thinks that the Texans are going to take Will Anderson just with that Alabama connection. If it's one of those two, the price is going to significantly increase for number 3. At least I think. Because I think that there are going to be teams that pick up the phone and call about number 3, since there will be a run on those quarterbacks, since there'll be a C.J. Stroud and Will Levis and Anthony Richardson all available. Now, that's just my interpretation of it. Maybe nobody wants to touch that number 3 overall pick. And maybe Arizona's just going to have to take whatever they can get for it. I think the minimum asking price would be 2 1s, a 2, and then mid-round picks thrown in there.
So essentially, that's really what Green Bay did. Essentially that's what they did. They swapped. So you still got your first rounder from this year.
Mm-hmm.
You get a second rounder this year. You get
probably 2 twos. I would have to
potentially a first rounder, but definitely a second rounder next year. And I think they got another pick here and there. I think what we gotta sort of try to understand is when you're looking at the draft in the first round, I think teams are built through the later rounds. Teams that have sustainability, they're built in the later rounds, meaning rounds, and when I say later, I don't mean like late, but what I'm saying is anything after the first round. Because first rounders are there, it's like those guys are going to be impact players, but you only more than likely only draft him once in the first round. Now, some teams do have 2, but that's not always the norm. Mm-hmm. You're only drafting once in the first round. But after that, now I got to build my team. If I have a first rounder and he balls out, but then the rest of my draft picks never pan out to anything, I'm just going to have a first rounder that balls out, and my team's still going to be sad,
Right.
The draft is about building up your team in hopes that, that first round hit, but more importantly, 2nd through 7th, they are guys that will serve big roles on our team. Now, all the guys won't make the team. We know that.
Right.
But the guys that you do keep, you want them to be not necessarily foundational pieces. If you're a young franchise, they could be foundational pieces, but pieces that you can rely on, at least for the next 3 to 4 years, and then potentially if you choose to re-sign them.
That is something that Rand Carthon has hammered on is, the first round, you're getting a guy that can help your team right now.
Exactly.
But don't sleep on those late rounders. Stephon Diggs was a 5th-round pick. Derrick Henry was a 2nd-round pick. A.J. Brown was a 2nd-round pick. And even though I still view a 2nd-round pick as being a premier pick, it's not the guys that we're going to be talking about, that we have been talking about for the last few months. It's the guys that are like, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th-round picks.
Exactly.
A lot of those guys can turn out to be foundational players for your football team. Let's get your thoughts on it. Our phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Kenny is on the line. What's up, Kenny?
Hello, good friends. How are y'all doing?
Doing good.
Doing good.
Kenny.
Happy draft day.
Excellent. There's a lot of draft opinions going around. Would y'all like a solid as concrete draft fact?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to throw you a fact. It does feel like the pulse is going that the Titans are going to trade up to get a quarterback. In the last 11 years, this has happened 6 times where a team drafted into the top 5 picks to get a quarterback, okay?
Traded up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Into the top 5 picks. These 6 teams absolutely swore they had identified their savior. It was going to turn their city around. It was going to be building blocks for a Super Bowl future. Would y'all like to hear the name of these 6 players?
Yes.
Okay, they were traded for over 20 draft picks and players. RG3, Mitch Trubisky, Carson Wentz, Sam Darnold, Jared Goff, and Trey Lance. Not one of them got a second contract with their same team, and I guess Goff was the only one that really panned out. What do y'all think of that?
Thanks for your call, Kenny. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
don't overpay for these guys.
It gives you pause.
Well, we can't say RG3 because we know what happened in that situation.
Injury.
Yeah, that injury. He should have never played in that playoff game, and that just totally turned his whole career
That's
around.
a what if,
And
for sure.
jury's out on Trey Lance.
Trey Lance, jury's out.
Right.
Goff was a good pick, I believe.
Goff got to a Super Bowl.
And then
Goff has been an okay quarterback. He's been a good, solid quarterback.
He got his team to a Super Bowl.
He did.
Okay. And he's upgraded the team that he went to now, the Lions. He's upgraded them.
And he was the key for the Rams to get Matthew Stafford.
Yes. And we look at the other who did he say from Philadelphia? I forget.
Carson Wentz.
Yeah, Carson Wentz. Well, at one point, whether we love Carson Wentz or not, at one point, Carson Wentz, before his injury, was on an MVP level. That season, he was playing at an MVP level, and he ended up getting hurt. And his career's never really been the same since that injury. I don't know if he, it just threw him off how it all happened with Jalen Hurts and everything else and them trading him away. I don't know. But he has not been the same quarterback since that injury.
It's true. And
but it is
hear
not
Kenny.
a list that just has you wowing franchise quarterback.
It doesn't.
But at least 3 guys on that list, it's like, what if? Because it's
a what if, but
but it's circumstances outside of their play that caused them to RG3. After that knee injury, he was never the same player. Who else was on that list? Jared Goff. Well, we saw he did take his team to a Super Bowl. Then they end up trading him.
These are fine players, but the point is, none of them are franchise quarterbacks.
Darnold was pretty. I mean,
Darnold is not a franchise quarterback.
He's not a franchise quarterback, but he's not like a bust.
He and Trey Lance are on the same team, so one of them's not going to start this year.
Well, in the injury with Trey Lance, that's kind of a unique situation in San Francisco.
But this is the thing, though. You have to give up a lot to get one of these guys, and it's not a huge. Like, why not just sit and wait and draft the guy when it's your turn to pick?
What about Patrick Mahomes?
The Chiefs didn't stay back.
They didn't stay back. They went and
it
got
wasn't
their,
the top
How about the
five.
Baltimore? How about the Baltimore Ravens? They didn't wait. They went and got their quarterback.
When?
Later in the rounds with Lamar.
But they didn't trade up to get him, did they?
I think you might be right because I thought they traded back up to the first round. They might have traded down and then did some things so they can make sure they got him. But again, if you feel like that guy's your guy, then do it, whether it's a quarterback or not a quarterback.
Okay, but all of those guys, that was Kenny's point. All of these teams felt like they got their guy. We traded up, darn it, we got our guy. And
they were wrong.
It's kind of a...
But you know why that is, too? It's because teams typically, if they're in that position, if they're in a top position and they need a quarterback, they take them. They don't have to finagle their way up to try to move up. Not many teams are doing that anyway. But when they do it, it seems like, okay, 30% of the times it works. Now, if you're grading all these guys based on championships, then okay, really none of them worked. If you're just basing it on winning championships.
But the point is you're out the other picks. You traded up and you gave up something, usually pretty significant, to move up these few
Philadelphia
slots.
went back to a Super Bowl. Philadelphia won a Super Bowl, then they went back to another one.
Right, they won a Super Bowl, and Carson Wentz was doing very well for a while, but he's not with them anymore.
Because he got injured, and he never really got over that. He never really he was not the
but
same player after that injury.
They gave him many chances to come back, and he turned into the Carson Wentz that we see today.
But he's
error-prone, not very good.
Wasn't the same
And the
quarterback.
Eagles are in fine shape without him.
Exactly.
It's never an easy decision to make, to do that, to leverage the future. And if that's the sample size of teams that have traded up into the top 5 to get those quarterbacks, it doesn't make you feel very good about it.
No, it doesn't.
I could also make the same argument about first overall quarterbacks. There are very few first overall quarterbacks that actually pan out. Is that going to stop? Is that going to stop the Carolina Panthers from taking Bryce Young?
No.
It didn't stop Cincinnati from taking Joe Burrow. And that 2020 and 2021 drafts make us look at first overall quarterbacks a little bit differently, considering how promising Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence look. There is a very damning history of a lot of quarterbacks in drafts. There's a very good history of some quarterbacks in drafts. I understand the trepidation to trade up. And if the Titans don't trade up, I'm fine with that because they did what's best for the organization. If they do trade up, then they think they found their quarterback of the future. If they're wrong and it's the next quarterback in line of the Trubiskys and the
They give us a
Darnolds,
lot to talk about.
it's going to be a very interesting few years in Tennessee. But you never know. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. There's one team and one pick that I think will dictate at least the first half of the first round, maybe the entirety of the first round, and what the intel is on that pick. We'll get into that coming up next. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
The offseason is underway for the Predators. But don't worry. We'll keep you covered with all of the happenings in Smashville.
Wouldn't it be a great party if we could win a cup?
What does new GM Barry Trotz have in store?
We're going to make good decisions. We're going to develop our players.
We are your home for Smashville. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
33 hours of savings this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at Electronic Express. These deals are so hot they only last 33 hours. Get a Hisense 65-inch 4K TV for just $349 or a JBL Bluetooth speaker for just $59. Save up to 50% on 4K TVs, computers, housewares, appliances, and more. Don't miss out on a Go Wise air fryer for just $79 or an Amana laundry pair for just $449 each. Now through Saturday. Shop online or at all Electronic Express locations.
What if you could be credit card debt-free in 10 days and save as much as $1,000 a month? Loan Pronto's all-new Express Equity Line of Credit program is just what you need. Willy Donick here. You don't have to do a full home refi. You can tap a small portion of the equity you have and enjoy a super low monthly payment. With Loan Pronto's Express Equity Credit Line, you can close in 7 to 10 days, and a $50,000 loan would only cost you around $400 a month. Use that money to pay off high-interest credit cards or do a home improvement. You can access up to 90% of your home's equity, and 9 out of 10 homeowners won't even need an appraisal. Even if you did a total refi recently or just bought your home, you can tap the equity with this fast, easy program. Stop the madness and say no to 24% interest fees. Call Loan Pronto today. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Did you know that more than 4,000 children in Nashville are experiencing homelessness right now? And across Middle Tennessee, that number grows to more than 9,000. Hi, I'm Jamie with Souls for Souls, a global nonprofit based right here in Nashville, and we're on a mission to provide these kids with a brand new pair of athletic shoes through our For Every Kid program. Because we know that something as simple as a pair of shoes can change a child's future. Students who receive these new shoes tell us things like, I can't believe these shoes are mine. I finally have something new of my own and don't feel left out. And my feet feel like they can breathe. We're joining forces with our friends here at 102.5 The Game for the second annual Music City Celebrity Golf Tournament to help provide new shoes to kids across Nashville. It's all happening June 7th at the Hermitage Golf Course. Come join us for an afternoon of fellowship and fun, all in support of a great cause. Go to thegamenashville.com for more information and to register.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up Bud Light at your local convenience store today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Nashville Sounds Baseball lives on 94.9 The Fan. Catch every pitch.
Swing and a miss, strike three.
Every hit.
That's a base hit.
Every run.
Looking up, it's gone.
On your home for Sounds Baseball. 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
Hey Nashville, this is Gary Bettman. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Are you 100% buying that the Texans are completely out on C.J. Stroud, or is there a chance
I am.
You're buying that?
I'm buying that. And I don't know why. I've talked to some people.
Let me change my mock draft right now. Also,
Tyler, NFL people. And if NFL people say, of course, that S2 cognition test, which he scored 18, and Bryce Young had a 98, Will Levis a 93, that works against him. But they also talked, everybody looks at the Georgia game. Well, you could look at the Rose Bowl the year before when he didn't have Chris Olave and he didn't have Garrett Wilson. They opted out. And in the last game, he did have Jackson Smith-Njigba, who had over 300 yards, and he had a fantastic game. But they do put stock into every throw. What kind of throw was made? Where was it thrown? What kind of coverage? How did he adjust to coverage? I know everything we see on highlights. We don't see lowlights. You know, the NFL people watch every throw. So they see the good and the bad. And not every throw is perfect, of course. So that seems to be working against him, that it does work against him. That he had great receivers, that it was more because of them than him. I'm not buying it. I can buy the S2 cognition results.
There you go. That was John McClain on a hot mic with Hutton and Withrow. If there is any Texans news to be reported, if there's any Texans tea, then John McClain has got it. And he says he's buying the fact that the Texans aren't interested any longer in C.J. Stroud. Whether it's S2, Nick Caserio came out and said that the agent that C.J. Stroud and Deshaun Watson share, that was not a factor. He said maybe it was the receivers at Ohio State. John McClain's not buying that. Whatever reason it might be, S2, receivers, the agent, or something completely different, or if the Texans just don't love him. Whatever reason it is, John McClain is buying the fact that the Texans don't like C.J. Stroud. So if John McClain says it, then I will say it as well. But I think that the Texans pick dictates everything in this year's draft. I think it'll dictate who calls to trade up to 3. I think it'll dictate where the quarterbacks go, when they go. I think that number 2 spot, because I think we all feel pretty comfortable that Carolina's taking Bryce Young at 1. Yeah. Whatever happens at 2, it is free reign from there. The floodgates will open at 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, that 2 through 5 or that 3 through 5. I think that's going to be that may set the groundwork, at least for the first round, the first 15 or 20 players taken. So I mean, I think you're spot on when you're assessing that and looking at it and say, well, that number 2 spot is going to, after that number 2, we should pretty much know what's going to go, or have an idea of what's going to go on moving forward. Because I mean, any one of these guys, I mean, if you are a Stroud fan, you're going to find everything about him that's right. That's just the way you're going to do. It's just like any other thing.
And vice versa.
Exactly. If you are a fan of something, or you're in a relationship, whatever, if you like that, then you're going to find all the positives. But if you don't like something, then you're going to look for the negatives. And they could be the smallest negatives out there, but you're going to look for them. Just like C.J. Stroud, it went from this guy is the first round pick to all of a sudden, well, the S2 scores. And then, well, no, it's the receivers. So it's like you're trying to, and I'm not saying that they're not valid, as far as what you're seeing. The S2 score, from what we know, was an 18. We don't know if the whole was an 18, but a part of it was an 18. We know that he had great receivers, so those things that we know. But we wasn't saying he had great receivers when the whole draft process started, because we knew that. We knew who he had at receiver. So why didn't all that come out before? Like, why wasn't that a big deal before? Again, if you don't like them or you don't like it, then you start nitpicking at things or pointing at things that, that really is like, when I look at the big picture, those things are not as big as what we're making them.
This is a dynamic that I think is also something to watch for tonight. Again, not trying. I try to avoid trying to be the mind reader, because I mean, what do I know? Like, we're just guessing. When you hear somebody come on and say this team doesn't like C.J. Stroud, that's the argument. That's what that discussion was about. We just heard with John McClain. Okay, that's what he's hearing. That's what he's reporting. And there's 5 other teams that might be in on a quarterback, and you have this sense, this team and this team, they love Will Levis. So that's an interesting thing. Like, you've been saying all along, if you love the guy, go get the guy. But in this particular draft, with the way that all of these quarterbacks are being evaluated, they all seem to have their strengths. They all have some weaknesses. There's a varying degree of certainty on all of them. So an X factor is how much, this all starts with the second pick, is how much does each team love one guy but not the other 3? Like, I might go up to get so-and-so if I can get to 6, but only if I can get Levis, or only if I can get Richardson. I'm not going up there if he's not there. See, that to me is going to be very compelling to watch, is who jumps up to get one of these specific guys. And is there a team out there who's like, you know what, I'll just wait and see who falls. I'm good with any of them. I like them all. Or, hey, look, I'm not drafting any of these guys because I think they're all I'd rather just pass and wait and see what comes down the pike next year.
I think that's going to be the question, is which teams are willing, like Indianapolis, for example. If Indianapolis loves all 4 quarterbacks not named Bryce Young, I'm good at 4. Look, I'm
Yeah,
good
one of them will
at
be there.
4.
Exactly. That's a great
I will take
example.
one of them at 4.
That's a great example.
If Indianapolis only wants Will Levis and they will die without Will Levis, they'll probably trade up to number 3. And Will Levis could be there at 4, even if they hadn't made that move. But if that
They might have
is
to
their
trade up to
guy
2.
and they
If
have
what
to
John is
take
saying
him,
is true, they might have to get to 2.
if Houston decides
If
to not take C.J. Stroud and not take a quarterback at all,
But what if they love Will Levis?
they might love Will Levis too. That's the thing. And it's the same thing with the Tennessee Titans. Can the Titans trade up to 5 with Seattle? And if they love 4 quarterbacks, if they say, hey, if whoever trades up to 3 takes Anthony Richardson and Indianapolis takes Will Levis, we'll be happy with C.J. Stroud or whatever quarterbacks in whatever order you want. I think you kind of have to play into that. But if there's that one guy you love, what are you willing to do to go up and get him?
How desperate are you? How much are you going all in to get that guy? That's why I still say there's an advantage in being able to walk away, just like on the car lot, when you're saying I have to have 4 wheels and something to drive out of here or else I need a ride home. That's how desperate I am for a new car.
Indianapolis
As opposed
is in
to
that
the person,
situation.
it's like, okay, if I like the deal, I'm buying. If I don't like the deal, I'm just going to go back to my car and I'll just wait for another day if you don't like this deal. So I come back to the Titans. They have a quarterback. They're not desperate. They can wait if they want to. So I think that puts them in an advantage. I don't see a reason, with everything I've read about all these quarterbacks, I don't see a reason to reach and be desperate to get a guy.
What percentage do we think the Titans actually take a quarterback? What would they do to go get that guy? Is he there at 11? Do they trade up? We'll get into that coming up next. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106 the game.
Want to jump into the mind of a 15-year NFL vet? Well, here's your chance. D-Mase. It's Ask D-Mase.
Come on, bring them on.
Ask questions on football and life to Derek Mason every Friday at 12:30 on Ask D-Mase.
Don't mess with her. The skilled guy. Money reigns supreme.
On Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase. On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Family Leisure invites you to vacation at home with a new spa, pool, patio furniture, or wood play gym this summer.
I really want a spa.
40 spas on display from Artesian, Best Spas, and American Select.
Prices starting as low as $29.99.
Family Leisure has over 100 sets of patio furniture with free delivery.
That sounds good to me, too.
We should really look at the wood play gyms for the kids. Family Leisure has the Diamond Point swing set on sale at only $24.99 installed. Family Leisure's vacation at home sale in Franklin and Antioch.
Hi, this is Warren Moon, 9-time Pro Bowl quarterback and member of the Tennessee Titans Ring of Honor and Pro Football Hall of Fame. On the field, I always wore a helmet and pads to make sure I was protected. Life is no different. That's why I got vaccinated and boosted against COVID-19. Protection keeps you in the game. Talk to your doctor and get the information you need to make an informed choice. Gear up, Tennessee. Protect yourself and your family against COVID-19 today.
For more information, go to nflagearup.org/Tennessee.
AM radio provides always-on news, sports, talk, traffic, and weather reports. And it's also a vital service that provides important emergency information when your community needs it most. Tell Congress you need AM radio to stay in your car. Because when cell phones and the internet are down, this free emergency service is critical. And when you don't have electricity, radio in the car is often your only lifeline. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress we need AM radio in cars. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right, but right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair, Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
He's got big takes.
It's not that freaking hard. Hand the ball to Henry.
Small takes.
You have to defend your decision.
But all takes.
They win, they lose. Just invested a lot into this game. I thought it was the worst press conference.
He is Jared Stillman.
I guess I'm just not a very good coach, Jared.
Weekdays from 2 to 6. Stillman and Company. Presented by TriStar Moving on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. This is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Field, I sat with Titans new GM Rand Carthon in his office to go over the mood of the building on draft eve, as well as try to get more information as to what they are going to do with that pick at 11. And he tells me they're really calm, they're prepared. In fact, head coach Mike Vrabel and him sat together for 2 hours and they set their draft board. They are ready to go for Thursday night. So what are they going to do with their pick at 11? Carthon tells me they're open to everything. They're willing to move out. They're willing to stay. They're also willing to move up. In fact, I spoke to some sources around the league, teams like the Arizona Cardinals, who have taken calls from the Tennessee Titans about perhaps trading up. Now, the player they're going for, Carthon wouldn't tell me what they're doing, but my sense is the Tennessee Titans have their eyes on a quarterback, and they're going to do everything they can to go get it.
That was Diana Brusini on ESPN yesterday afternoon. Her sense might be a sense that was maybe whispered in her ear a little bit by a certain Mike
source.
Vrabel.
I mean, sense.
Yeah, my sense. I'm just pulling this out of nowhere. My sense, even though I'm at the Titans facility
Spider
right now.
senses. I mean, Spidey has good spider senses. They start tingling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Her spidey sensors are tingling that the Tennessee Titans are willing to do whatever it takes to go up and get a quarterback. My take is the Titans are going up to get a quarterback. What the quarterback that is, I have no idea. But let's get your thoughts on this quickly. John is on the line. Phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com. What's up, John?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good.
I ideally would like to see the Titans drop back to about 15 to 17, somewhere in there. I think they're going to have multiple chances, multiple choices there at 11 to where they feel comfortable dropping back. They can still get a great offensive tackle or top cornerback. I know the queen of the show here has said quarterback all week, and she's crying if they don't get one, but I can tell you they don't need a quarterback this year. I don't even care if they take they can pass on Hooker at 41 for all I care, and wait. But I think they can drop back, get some bullets for later, and they'd be okay. But we got to have offensive tackles. We got to have cornerbacks, and even if at 11, if they get that top edge rusher, can you imagine how hard Simmons will go off if we've got a top guy on the edge where they can't just double Simmons all the time?
Yeah, thanks for your call, John. Good call. Good insight. I will not cry if the Titans don't take a quarterback. I promise.
You sure?
I promise. Okay. I will be just fine. As long as whatever Mike Vrabel and Rand Carthon do is best for the football team, I will be fine with whatever happens.
But this question of, or this statement of the Titans need to go out and get a tackle, they need to go out and get a tackle, they need to go out and get a tackle. They did that. They went out and got a guy that was drafted first round that many probably had high on their board. They went and got him from Philadelphia, and now he's going to be your left tackle. They're paying him. They're not paying him this enormous amount, but they're paying him good money to be their left tackle. So I don't know why people don't believe that when Rand and Mike went and scouted this player during the draft many years ago, and then once they were going to bring him as a free agent, they didn't think, okay, we're bringing this guy in on this contract. He's going to be our left tackle. He will be the Titans' left tackle. I'm almost certain of that. He will be the Titans' left tackle. How long? I don't know, but he's going to start the season as their left tackle unless he gets hurt, unless something physically happens to him. So they don't have to go that route.
If they do, then great. You've got a lot more flexibility on the offensive line. Andre Dillard can be your left tackle. Maybe this guy that you draft maybe tonight is your right tackle. Then you can move Nicholas Petit-Frere on the inside, or you can leave Nicholas Petit-Frere on the outside. Maybe this guy that you draft, Peter Skoronski, could be available. I've heard he might be more of a true guard. Then you plug him in at guard so that you would at least have options. So I would not be opposed to that at all. But I'll say this to anybody who says, the Titans should trade back. Okay. Is there a willing trade partner?
Mm-hmm.
Is what you would get in return, let's say moving back from 11 to 15, worth the quality of players that you would miss at 11, 12, 13, and 14? Because if you're getting a 5th-round pick in return, then no, I'm not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So it just depends on return. It depends on how the board is falling. It depends on the guys that you have graded from 15 to 32. Would you feel comfortable moving back to 15, 17, whatever it is, if there's a willing trade partner, if the guys that you have graded there in those areas, if you feel good about it?
And that's where I think I come back to the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Trust your board.
Mm-hmm.
Trust your board. And that goes for the quarterbacks too.
Mm-hmm.
If your quarterback, if the 4 quarterbacks are on your board scattered about at 11, 15, 18, 20, then you shouldn't be trading up to number 3 to get them. That's why I say I'm not for trading up. I'm not for do quote, as Diana said, whatever it takes.
Mm-hmm.
You're interested in a quarterback, whatever it takes. She said moving up, moving back, staying pat. To me, if the guy falls to you at 11, and that's the guy you like, and that goes true to your board, that's where I take the quarterback. I do not give up extra stuff to get any of these quarterbacks. That's me.
If you believe, again, it all goes to if you believe as an organization that this is our guy, and unless we move up however many spots, we may not get the guy, but we believe this is the guy that's going to change our franchise, then you do it. It's not about what we think necessarily. Well, really, it's not. But it's about what they think. If there was a Joe Burrow in this year's draft, which it could be after it's all said and done, it could be.
Nobody thought Patrick Mahomes was Patrick Mahomes.
So you move up to do what you need to do to get that guy in hopes with any one of these guys that they turn out, whether you sit at 11, move back in the draft, or whatever. You hope that first-round guy pans out.
And what's the number one thing that a lot of people are concerned about with these quarterbacks? They bust.
Yeah. But that's every quarterback.
And people are saying, go get a tackle, go get a tackle. Well, the Titans did get a tackle 3 years ago in the draft.
Happened?
And he was a bust. So it's not just quarterbacks that can be busts. And it is just quarterbacks that can be the difference for your football team in winning and losing.
But busting with your pick is not as bad as busting trading up for the pick and not having a first-round pick the next year. That's a double whammy. That's why you don't do it.
But you're not going to know if you do what you're supposed to do as an organization and you get a young quarterback and you already got a quarterback in place, if you do the necessary things, then we won't know after a year or two whether that guy's a bust or not.
Of course not.
We won't.
So what percentage chance do we give the Titans trading up and getting a quarterback? Willie, you go first.
So I'm sticking with my plan. If he falls to me at 11 and I like him, that's where I'm taking him. I'm not moving up. I could move back. So I'm going to put the percentage chance of a quarterback at 40%. 40% is what I say. 40-60 that they take a quarterback. 40%.
Okay. I think the Titans are going to do what they need to do. Now, whether that's move up, stay put, I don't know exactly, but I think they will get a quarterback. And I think it's a 70% chance they get a quarterback because it's not about this year. It's about 2024, 2025, 2026, et cetera, et cetera. It's not about 2023. They know what they have in 2023. Ryan Tannehill. Now, they draft a quarterback, Will Levis maybe, and he's ready to play. You throw him in there. C.J. Stroud, he's ready to play, then you don't waste no time. You throw him in there. But your plan is to whoever you get, let him sit.
But you want him. You want the QB.
Yeah,
70% is what you're saying.
I know franchise.
You're going higher
than
than me.
You don't change your franchise with a defensive player. You don't change your franchise. You don't win a championship with a defensive player. You don't win it with a running back. in these days. You win it with a franchise quarterback and a lights-out defense.
You don't win a Super Bowl because of your tackle. I'm giving it a
2 letters, LT.
75% chance.
75?
That the Titans trade up to either 3 or 5 and take a quarterback. I don't know what quarterback it is.
Like it.
I think they are going for it. It could be the worst mistake that Rand Carthon has ever made in his life, or the best decision
but you won't
he
know
has
until
ever
you make
made
it
in his life. And we will know tonight. Happy Draft Day. We'll see y'all at Twin Peaks starting at 6 o'clock. Jared Stillman, D-Mase, Chris Sanders tonight. Stillman & Company is up next. We'll be back tomorrow. And we will know who the Titans quarterback of the future is tomorrow at 11 a.m.
Absolutely. Be love and love on somebody.